Good.
We're on?
Mm-hmm.
All right, sorry. Welcome back. We're a little rusty. We're a little lusty. Everybody, welcome back to the North American Squad League. We are past our halfway point. We took a nice break for the North American Challengers Tournament. As you know, almost literally every single one of the teams that play in this league wanted to compete in that. So we all took a little break, but as you can see, the casters are back, the teams are back, and we are hyped. We are on week 5, day 9, getting closer and closer to the end of tonight. We definitely have some good games ahead of us. Before we jump into any of the games or start talking about them, I know you guys know these guys. I know them very well. We have Private and G, the Akayo. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great. It's been a nice little relaxation. It is been a very busy few months for us casting with especially in an NA, the NACT, which all of us were a part of. We took a little break from NASL like you mentioned, and now we're kicking things off again very strong with some of the top teams in NA. Not some of the top teams, but the top teams in NA, which was kind of proven in the Challenger tournament.
Most definitely. G, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Happy to be here as always. The good old Akayo, as you can see on the screen. No, it's good, dude. I can't. Again, like we've seen a lot of these teams in the NASL, which is it's good to see, as well as seeing them in the NACT. Like these are solid teams. We've kind of bred them up to here. Like like our own little children, as you could say.
I definitely take some credit, right? I mean, but it's true. This has been it's been such a breeding ground, right? And we've seen teams one of the most prime examples, I feel like, is Team First Blood. We've seen a team that came into season 3, has been following the league for the past 3 seasons, wanting to get in. They come into season 3, and they just completely start evolving. Not only that, I mean, several teams, the Simpsons, Deuce Knights. I mean, I think teams like Area 77, Team Sexy, some of these other teams, they were already very good, but I just felt a lot of them have found a place to grow and play competitive regularly in this league. So definitely super excited to be jumping back into it. I know I've been itching. I've been waiting to get into it. And tonight we definitely have some bangers, right? Up front, we have Team Sexy up against New Wave. Now we all know New Wave. We all know Team Sexy. I do have to say, during the break and coming back, we did let some teams have a few roster changes, right? So Team Sexy, we're going to be seeing a few new players on their team, along with some other teams as we creep on and towards through the league. So I know we are running a little behind, but before we jump into the draft, Private, if you had to pick, who are you giving the game to tonight?
Well, it's very hard to pick against the team that has been so consistently on top of NA, last NASL winners, the current NACT winners, New Wave, and especially with what we're talking about with kind of that little juggling that we're happening in the roster right now. I'm kind of hard pressed to take that away from New Wave right now.
Most definitely. So you're saying New Wave. That's the
yes.
Aiko?
I mean, this isn't the same roster we've seen in the NACT.
Okay.
This ain't the same roster. We've seen Team Sexy excel in the NACT, but also not the same roster. So hopefully, I want to go with Team Sexy here, but I always have a little piece of my heart in New Wave as well.
Yeah, I mean, Team Sexy definitely. Honestly, it's kind of the opposite. Team Sexy holds a place in my heart, right? Like I've known them for a long time. New Wave as well. Never mind. All of these teams hold a place in my heart, right? It's always when it comes to outside tournaments outside of the NSL, it's always so sad to see them go against each other early off and things like that. But I think you are correct. New Wave definitely. Statistics are what count when I give my choices, and I think New Wave can definitely take this, but we can't count out Team Sexy. They're definitely upset kings. They come up when we least expect them to take on these games. So let's not waste any time as we're speaking of games. We're jumping into the draft now. New Wave up against Team Sexy. New Wave will have first ban, first pick, and they're starting off with that Lunox, a direct target to Nicolette.
You know, it's interesting as I was going through a lot of the stats that we had on the squad league, and how much in the last month and a half that the landscape has changed with the meta, with the changes to Faramis, who's become like a staple now. And there,
Your
as
team
speaking
is
of which,
banning.
as of a first picker
To
ban
live
in there
is
right
to
now, so
trick
it's
the
it's
Reaper.
been very interesting right now, and I'm wondering how much are we still kind of leaning on that Belmont that has
Your
become
team
so
is
popular
banning.
in NA, because there were just a round of nerfs that came out this week.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've been kind of thinking about as well is that with all of the patch changes and everything, like Xborg is now like on the rise.
I mean, that's huge too. The mage buff to him. I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm thinking I mean, we've already seen Xborg peek his eyes through here and there, right? But I think now there's like major possibilities that he becomes a serious threat.
Mm-hmm. What's your take?
Yeah, it's interesting because Xborg, it depends, because the way I see Xborg has become that counter for that very thick front line of this tank meta. He's the one, especially when you mix in the speed that you get with the Hunter Strike and how NA likes to use him to be able to kind of like the longer the fights go, the better it is for Xborg. So I'm not sure how well the magic will go into that. It just depends on how this is I guess shifted. I mean, we're still kind of seeing the same bans here, especially that Atlas priority, which has become really big here right now, like especially in this first banning phase to have Atlas out. It's become like a case in point that if you don't, Atlas needs to either be banned or he becomes some like weird mind game in the first 3 picks here of getting Atlas and banning out Diggy or something like that. So it's going to be really interesting to see how these teams are dealing with it. Or honestly, now are we going to start seeing some more assassins as junglers? And that's what I'm really interested to see. I love seeing the changes, the differences from what we've been able to cast beforehand here in NA.
Yeah,
Most definitely. And we are seeing a couple more bans come in now. We have the Fanny ban. Right now, New Wave definitely seems to kind of be focusing hard. I mean, we've definitely made a poke at Nicolette. We've made a poke at Best Player with the Fanny. We saw him on the Fanny during NACT. Nothing like super flashy, but steady. Was able to pick up kills, was able to not die, and make plays when they mattered. And since they are in first pick here, they have the opportunity to do this. With this, here comes Julian. Now, I'm still kind of up in the air about Julian. But I will say, like, I've been watching a lot of MPL and a lot of over in Malaysia, and a lot of teams still favor him. They put him in the mid. Some people are jungling. Some people are doing different things with him. But he still is. He's not exactly on the ban table, but a lot of teams are still favoring him.
Well, and I think that's it. Is that there's a pretty interesting flexibility to Julian right now, which kind of adds to especially picking him first. Because I mean, I know we see that the jungle spell there, but we're not even sure if he's going to be using it, because he can be played mid, he can be played in the XP lane to great skill level as well. And taking out this Linux actually kind of opened the doors for Team Sexy here, as you see them going into a heavier and tankier first picks with their lineup here. So definitely playing off the draft of a New Wave here as well.
One of the things that are kind of showing up here, like I think you were just talking about the Julian, I just don't feel like it's viable anymore. Like, I've seen it, and I've seen so many donuts, like bronzes, the chocolate factory. It's just too strong.
I don't know, man. I still think he's solid, but I mean, whether he's solid or not, what I can say is solid, the Thamus, the Ballman.
Yes.
Team Sexy fires back with 2 very strong picks, and the Thamus, I feel like we may be getting to a point soon where teams may start banning it. I mean, it is a problem. It is something in that EXP lane. It pretty much dominates everything, I believe. I don't think there's really anything putting up a fight against it. And I think it's just very strong. Now, Doctor picks up the the Dyroth,
yeah.
And then we also get something to deal with some of that tankiness by picking up the Claude once you lock in that DHS. So the Claude also becoming very powerful and doing well. We were actually just talking about Claude before we started this live stream and how bad we were all at it. But
Wow,
definitely
just set
excited
us
to
out,
see.
T-Rex.
Hey, man,
Yeah, it definitely takes a decent amount of skill to get that placement on Claude, and he is a very late shining marksman. I honestly, it's hats off to anybody who plays him well and can find those those paths to be able to run that blazing duet without getting caught. Because I'm honestly in awe of players like that. But we do see possibly a little bit of an answer into that as Nicolette picks up this Kagura, a lot of that burst mage potential that she has on that. I think that's more specifically for the Claude there. And touching back onto this Thamus again, he's become so powerful because initially the thought on Thamus was his mobility and how slow he was to be able to get into fights. But as you move into the mid and into the late game, Thamus has there's fights that are unavoidable. Like you're not going to be able to kite the entire team, and that's where Thamus is going to shine when he can get into those team engagements during objectives like the Lord and the Turtle.
Yeah, I'm definitely wondering. So I like, well, you mentioned the Kagura, and I do like the Kagura, especially with the ability to get out of that CC. She should be able to outrange this Julian. Now the question is, what are they going to pick up for their mage, right? Do they want to go for something I haven't been seeing a whole lot recently of the Xavier, right? Kind of has fallen off the map a little bit for a lot of teams. But you do want something that can deal with the range of that Kagura a little bit. And I was thinking, my mind was going to seeing the Julian in the mid lane, but if they use it as a jungler, then they still have opportunities, right? But do they want to rely too much on that magic damage, or maybe try for something a little bit different here? The Grok getting banned out, the Karina, Franco from the side of New Wave. Honestly, I'm surprised they just banned the Franco, thinking that's been a solid pick for tomorrow, but they already must have something in plan. Akai is still open as well.
Yeah, possibly looking for some types of sets, something that helps. Well, honestly, they banned out the Kufra, so that there goes that plan in my head. So, because my thing is I feel like players like are characters like Dyroth and the Claude. They shine through a set, through the ult from Lolita, from Kufra, from things where you can get the whole team kind of to stay still for a bit while they're able to kind of maneuver in and get that damage on there. So it's going to be interesting to see how well you can play into this and what we're going to be able to do here. Oh, and we're going to see Bruno.
Bruno's been devastating, to be honest. I've watched the damage output and the speed. I've seen Bruno's go 1v4, you know, just come out of nowhere and crit. So I think it's a good pick.
You know, me and Naisu were talking about it, how theoretically 1v1 he should be able to just about outplay almost any marksman on the field, right? His damage is just there. He can crit, like you said, but there, for some reason, you know, it just never seems to fall through. Now, I think he won the final game, right? He was on New Wave when they won the final game, the NACT. So I mean, we know it is playable. We know it is something doable. It just hasn't become something that has really come forth and shine now from the side of New Wave. Lolita and Eve getting picked up private.
Yeah, and then on the backside here for New Wave is exactly what I was talking about before, is those sets, those initiations, and you're definitely going to have that with the Numenon Blast and the real world manipulation here. It's going to give the Dyroth and the Claude plenty of time to be able to come in, maneuver, and get off their damage, and then possibly be able to find an exit. And that might be something that I'm kind of feeling like is kind of lacking. It's definitely, I do feel like the early game is definitely going to Team Sexy, but we've seen this before with New Wave. What they lack in early game, they kind of force it into that mid and late game. But I mean, Team Sexy kind of reading into that. They've got a very nice early game comp here, and hopefully probably looking to close this early against New Wave, because I'm going to tell you, once this gets late, it's going to be a hard hill to climb for Team Sexy.
Yeah, definitely something like you said, early game aggression. Anytime we see the Ballman, I want to see. You also have the Stamus, you have the Natalia as well now to really kind of seal the deal. So I mean, that's That's the key. And we know that, I mean, we heard it from Nicolette's voice herself. We like to lean into these early game comps. We like to be aggressive in the beginning, heavy rotation. So this is something New Wave needs to be on the watch out for. Nikto going to need to be careful in his jungling path. But before we talk any farther, this is the first game of the night. North American Squad League, Team Sexy up against New Wave. Now, as I was saying, Nikto in this jungle, right? I feel like we're all kind of up in the air about this Julian, right? And I think this may not be the best place for him to shine. As long as best player can, you know, dodge around those chains and not get popped up while spinning, not get popped up while trying to engage, they can definitely put some beautiful aggression. Same thing with Big Papa on this Natalia, focusing on this Eve. Anytime that Eve goes still, Big Papa's going to be trying to come in and make a play. So we'll see what happens here, but I feel like if Team Sexy wants to take this game one, they need to be aggressive from the jump.
Yeah.
And yeah, we do.
One thing that I've been really seeing here too that I wanted to point out is that, like, I'm giving this draft pick to New Wave here. That Lolita, the biggest key factor of winning for New Wave.
Yeah, and we do see that the blue buff gets taken out. Nikto had a little bit of trouble, is able to escape back to the safety of the tower as Mamil's coming back for a little bit of support, but Tamal comes in, and Big Pop actually might be in a little bit of trouble here, is able to dash out of the way. Gozu Best while on the backside. Gozu Best player is able to go ahead and steal that jungle buff. So good engagements by both, but like I said, the early game here right now, Team Sexy doing a very good job kind of weaving their way in and out of trouble.
Yeah, and able to steal that blue buff in the first minute and a half. Huge, taking something from Nikto, and this is exactly what we want to see from them, right? And just keep up this pressure. Just keep on pushing on them. New Wave, you can already see how now they're like, all right, we know what the game is going to play. We're going to start being aggressive. Looking at the mini-map, you can see Nikto pushing in on the enemy jungle. But the thing is we have best player already working on this turtle, already had Nikto steals a camp. But at this point, this should be a free turtle for best player.
Yeah, and wisely using that lethal counter. And down comes the real world manipulation. Is going to try to zone out the rest of the players, not able to pick up a kill, and does help out Nikto to get that a little bit of escape. Tamal in a little bit of trouble as we do see that smoke screen come down from Big Papa there. Oh, and a blazing duet right now, but Sirius able to get back to the safety of the tower.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to use that blazing duet to clear the lane a little bit, you know, especially if you're getting pushed back. Like, it's, you know, I remember like being new to the game and like, oh, I shouldn't use my ultimate on minions. And I would get mad when I see things like that. Hold up. He gets that gold crab. But like, you see them do it a lot. Like, if your lane's getting pushed in and if you're on the behind, if you're having a little too much pressure, use that blade. Ooh, popping on blast here.
Oh my god, that was a beautiful flicker into a Numenon blast right when you thought that Yin Yang overturn from Nicolette was going to connect, but now we have Nikto coming in with the enhanced change. Does miss a little bit wide of Sirius, but Sirius does go down as Nicolette looking to try to use that umbrella to get back to safety. So good 2 kills on the side of New Wave early on in the game.
Man, this is what I was telling you. This is the Lolita. Like, the Lolita is going to come into being one of the best key factors for New Wave.
Yeah, now we do see 3 players on the best players. He's trying to get himself out of this right now. Nikto looking probably for that enhanced change. It does come up and pop up, Big Papa, but goes to best player coming in once they sense that the moves are down. But down comes the real world manipulation, and that lethal counter is not enough as Big Papa gets taken out as well. We are 4-0 in the opening 4 minutes of this game.
You know, when they all got, I feel like it got to a point, oh, wait a second, Sirius may go down as well here.
Oh, he takes the damage and he does go down, bit off a little bit more than he can chew. Nicolette does come in and able to pick up the kill, so it is not free for New Wave. But Nicolette actually in her own bit of trouble here, gets caught by 3 members of New Wave, and this is going to open up the turtle for New Wave.
Yeah, that is a huge lead for New Wave there. And, you know, I think they started engaging at the end there, and I feel like maybe that commitment should have happened in the very beginning, but wait a second, Nikto gets the kill onto Big Papa there. He tries to pull something off, not quite able to, but when they were stuck inside of that real manipulation, I feel like it was like they should have just went for it. They should have just went for the fight, but decided not to, and now they are falling behind. Shinra goes down.
And this is the problem with this early game right now, is even though they didn't have the early game advantage, New Wave was still like, they were getting their jungle taken, they were getting their blue taken, but they were still keeping up in gold. And that is the problem here with New Wave. When you see that opening in the early game, there's more to it than just having a weak early game. It's their farming ability is kind of unmatched right now. They're always constantly doing what it takes to clear their lanes, to get the jungle, to get that gold and keep it up, even though they don't have like a quote unquote early game composition.
Yeah, we are coming in now. I mean, speaking of gold leads, hold on, they're going at it right now. Just a non-stop Blazing Duet coming in, moving on blast.
Oh man, and doesn't look like they're going to be able to get out of this one. Big Papa is latched on to Al's fan. Boy, Nicolette trying to put on some damage here. He is going to go ahead and try to get out of here. I don't think he's going to be able to make it, as Big Papa is able to pick that up. Enhanced Change does miss. Why Big Papa on the run is not going to get away, as Nikto picks that up easily. And one minion here. This might be a bad way for Nicolette. Is going to try to get onto Momio, but this might not be the choice that you want to do, as damage is raining down onto her. And she's going to have to escape here, as Nikto is definitely not letting this up right now.
Yeah, Momio's 2-0-4 right now. And we're seeing that damage start to scale. You know, normally, normally I'm not too crazy about the damage output of Eve. It's all about the crowd control and everything. But if Eve can start to get some kills in the early game and start to level up, that real manipulation can do a lot of damage. Like, Nicolette was getting chipped down there, very close to death. So it's no longer something you want to take the chance of fighting inside. Big Papa also having a lot of trouble getting in. Taking a look at the items right now, we have seen Nikto has picked up, he's going more of a tank build. Wait a second, big pick in the middle.
Yeah, when you see a lethal counter come down, but then Nicolette does fall herself. The guest player trying to get away, but isn't able to get out of the way of that Blazing Duet from Fanboy. And this is what we're talking about, being able to get in, and especially now, once he has picked up that Demon Hunter sword, is able to just peel away at the health of best player on this Belmont. And you were talking about the damage from Eve, but Eve doesn't even, she only has an enchanted talisman. So that just tells you about how far ahead they're starting to get right now.
Yeah, this is definitely looking rough. And I was saying in the beginning that Team Sexy needed to be the aggressive ones. They needed to push in, but they just weren't able to take some of those beginning fights. They got that first pick off. They stole the blue buff, made some nice moves, but from there on, it's been kind of a downhill slope. And Team New Wave has just been so aggressive, keeping pressure on. It seems like right after that blue buff was stolen, New Wave kind of switched gears now into the middle.
Yeah, and we do see that the real world manipulation comes back down. Best player is not going to be able to get out of this. Blazing Duet is onto Sirius. Is he going to be able to do enough damage? Both marksmen go down here, while at the bottom, Nikto trying to fend off this assault from Shinra and Big Papa, as they're going to go ahead and make way for this purple buff.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I'm seeing for the side of Team Sexy is just the Nats not excelling here.
Yeah, and that's the problem too, especially from behind. There's not much that Nat can do from behind, the same as some of these other big warriors there. Oh, Nikto, I mean, look at Nikto able to even take the entirety of that Thamus ult, not even really budging with the healing that he's able to do or the damage. So I mean, right now there are plenty of leagues ahead right now, only about 3K on the map right now ahead. But oh man, best player might be in a little bit of trouble here with the combination of that real world manipulation and the Blazing Duet, able to make short work of best player on this Balmon. And right now, this is just all New Wave, as they are pretty much unstoppable. And we have another Blazing Duet coming in. Big Papa takes down. The entirety of the team is down to about a quarter of a health as they make short work of that tower at mid.
They're just going blow for blow right now. This is game one of the night, and definitely a very aggressive one. We're looking at a 23 kill count, 9 minutes in. Almost, we're breaking down to the inhibitors now onto the side of Team Sexy. Team Sexy just can't seem to keep up. Now, you mentioned earlier how Nikto was able to take the entirety of Shinra's ult, but I would like to argue that Shinra was able to sustain against two members of New Wave when they are this far ahead. So Shinra could be a possible saving grace here, especially now that he's not secluded down to the bottom lane. Of course, for bad reasons, all of his towers are gone, but he is able to rotate now into some of these 5-man fights and could maybe help create some space, create some time for Big Papa to find those angles, create some time for the team to make their plays in these team fights. The gold lead has gotten a little much. We're now looking at 7,000, looking very rough for the side of Team Sexy, but we can't count them out just yet. If Big Papa can make a play, if Nicolette can get a nice yin-yang and overturn it into that back lane, we could see some sort of turnaround.
Yeah, Tamal's just not letting up though. I mean, constantly keeping Big Papa out of bushes, not able to look at that. Like, just the constant pressure. Them not having a tank, like they're about to, man.
Ooh, at the bottom, though, we do see a little bit of an engagement happening here as Shinra is going to try to disengage. The rest of the team comes in, though, and look at this blazing duet shredding. Two players, Nicolette and Sirius, get taken out now, and this Lord is pushing into mid lane slowly and methodically, making his way through there. Oh, coming from the last two members, and Big Papa and Shinra are in trouble, but that spells it all for Team Sexy as this victory goes to a very dominant New Wave.
Victory!
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, G. I don't know if the Natalia was it. You know, I don't know what it is, because Natalia is like such a banned hero and a lot of competitiveness overseas, but it just seems like we haven't really gotten to see a player who really shines on it, or haven't gotten to see a team that really is able to work it into their comp and make it work correctly. Right here, we see the Rome Natalia, and we see how the team really just kind of fell. Tamal was able to constantly break in, never having anyone to really stop him. And the side of Team Sexy didn't have any sort of major engage like that, didn't have any sort of big CC as a matter, you know what I'm saying? And they leaned a lot into that heavy damage early aggression, but they just weren't able to make it succeed.
Yeah,
I personally feel like, oh, sorry.
Go for it.
Sorry, I was gonna say Natalia, I feel like shines. There's nothing on the side of Team Sexy that is warding New Wave away from banding together. There was always Tamal and Mamiel there together to kind of protect the teammates from that Natalia, and there really wasn't any reason for them not to group up together. Like I said, they didn't have a set. They didn't have anything that would punish New Wave from sticking together. So there was no reason for Dog Tour, for Nikto, for Isles Fan to kind of separate from the group at all, and that's where Natalia shines in my eyes.
Very true. Yeah. I think, you know, the Natalia should have been able to get there, but as you mentioned, she just wasn't able to really make it to the back. Now, onto the game though, Mamiel, man, 2-0-14 from the beginning. You know, with just the talisman, right? With just one item, was shredding through Nicolette, was shredding through members, definitely made it count. But Tamal, how does that man get silver? We saw, I mean, the plays that made that game were from that Numenon blast. The turnaround moment in the very beginning, when he caught off, 2 or 3 people, and then even towards the end was getting 3-man Numenon blast, stunning half of Team Sexy in one play, and the rest of the team was able to follow it up. Definitely the MVP in my eyes.
No, same here. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, I mean, Nikto was making me eat my words here. You know, I did not suspect, you know, a Julian to be that good in the jungle or even be viable in the current meta, but maybe it's a really big change that we're going to see here. They'd go tank Julian, which is, to me, a little bit of a different approach. And that shows to you why that he was able to sustain and take a lot of that damage in that early game against Thotmos.
Most definitely, but let's not waste any time. Let's get back to this caster's desk. Private, it sounds like you got something you want to say about it.
No, I'm just agreeing with it. It's really interesting. I love the way that this was played by them. I feel like a draft was heavily in favor of New Wave because like I'm when it comes to picking up sets, and I feel like New Wave really did tie the hands of Team Sexy here with some of those bans, with the Kufra, with the Franco. They eliminated a lot of the targets that Team Sexy could use to help set up engagements. And when we got out of that very early 2 minutes of the early game where they were able to take advantage of just like the raw damage they could put on. It was all New Wave because of how they could set up. Team Sexy could not get an engagement onto New Wave without a Numenon Blast coming out, without a real world manipulation coming out. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think either of those abilities happened without the other as well. So, and that just tells you about the cohesion of this team when it came to those engagements, where, and this might be more to do with kind of the roster fluctuations that we mentioned earlier on in the cast about, like, both of these teams kind of going through that, those growing pains right now, and maybe might not have the absolute greatest synergy with these guys when somebody either gets caught or somebody's going in.
Yeah, now we are jumping into game 2. We will see Team Sexy this time up with first ban, first pick. And speaking of bans, that's definitely something we need to see something a little bit different from Team Sexy here, right? New Wave was very focused on their bans. We could tell they knew exactly what they wanted to go for. They banned hard into the side of Team Sexy, and they quick picked that Julian, right? It's something that they prio very importantly. Team Sexy this time being very patient about what they want to do here. Maybe thinking, you know, what do we want to have as our first pick? Do we want to leave something open for ourselves? Force New Wave to ban a little bit differently.
Yeah, and I mean, from my side of this, definitely, you know, maybe, and I kind of think like New Wave and Team Sexy kind of pushed the Natalia pick. There wasn't too many roams left open, so maybe focus a roam, someone that's a heavy CC, like you were saying, T-Rex. Like, we were just missing a lot of control from the side of Team Sexy and more burst, and we just seen New Wave capitalize on that, and it's kind of looking roughly about what we were seeing last time.
Yeah, very specific bans here. As we know, New Wave does like to pick up that Masha to kind of cover that hole of the early game that they usually have. And so that's going to get banned out. And then what Nicolette does specialize on, that Lunux to take down those beefier players in this meta. So that's going to get taken out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that Fanny ban again, or if we have a plan. Okay, and we're gonna take out the Belmont early here. This is interesting too, because they just used it, and they have something else in mind, but don't want to see the Belmont on New Wave's side here.
Yeah,
Your team
maybe we see best player roll into something on more of his assassin side, right? Pick up something.
Ling.
Laugh, right? Yeah, possibly the Ling, maybe the Fanny. I mean, New Wave did bend it out last time. Something a bit more mechanically inclined. We haven't, you know, he's kind of back and forth, and he's still kind of on the edge of the exactly. I feel like we never really get to see it. From the time I've been watching him, he hasn't really had like an exact hero that he always goes to. The Ballman was really popular during the last NACT for him, but before that, there's been other heroes, right? Now, the Akai was open last time. There was a possible tank that was definitely just a misplay, a miscall. They wanted to go for that Natalia. So now with the board open to them, how do they want to fill these shoes?
From my aspect, I mean, of course I knew I was feeling the Julian coming out just because of what we see New Wave do with it, but can Team Sexy do what New Wave did? But what I'm thinking is that we just seen that Team Sexy tried to go for a severe burst. Didn't really work. We need to see more sustainability, and like they were doing really well in the beginning. Like they were holding out, the flip of a switch. Yeah, the flip of the switch and like the tide turn.
And two other very strong picks here in the X-Borg. We were just talking about the new buffs to X-Borg. He now scales with magic damage. I'm not sure if that's going to come into play here. We'll find out with the itemization of Nikto. Of Nikto here. But it's going to be really interesting here. And while you guys were talking about some of those heroes, the high mechanical heroes, that's one of the things that's kind of, I don't want to say disappointing, but it's been kind of a frustration with this meta, where those high mechanical heroes don't really have a place right now, especially the jungler, the Lings or the Lancelots. We do know best player plays a great Fanny. I'm not sure if we're going to see that tonight. We're seeing a good lineup, good pickups, a Uranus and a Beatrix on the side of Team Sexy. So they do have the damage here. Now we're going to be looking for that possible front line or that setup for the side of Team Sexy. And this,
I like it. I like it. I mean, and these are the tanks that Tamal wants, right? Like these are the tanks that Tamal needs. And as long as he gets these, you know, high engage, aggressive tanks who make plays, make sets, he's always someone that the enemy team needs to watch out for. And I think this Atlas, it's going to do great against the Julian. It's going to do great against the Uranus, you know, and especially if this Julian, with the Uranus being picked up, the Julian, I'm guessing, going to be mid lane, going to be a mage. So you're giving up some of that range, right? You're giving up some of that distance that you would normally have with the mage, and you're a bit more up close and personal. And this is exactly what Tamal wants, right? So for this Julian to be to succeed in this match, he's gonna need to maybe lag a little bit into these team fights, wait for the moment, be patient, and try to make plays, try to do ambushes. You can't just jump right into New Wave going against an X-Borg and this Atlas.
Well, the biggest thing that I did just see, and I mean, I can't remember if you were just talking about it, but the Julian is now the mage. It's not the jungle. Yeah. So and they target, and when I was seeing the ban mages like crazy, I was like, what?
Yeah,
solid.
Day you see such a
it's gonna be interesting because
there it is.
Your team is picking.
I just don't know what type of answer, and we don't have any. I don't think we're going to be seeing any purifies on these guys right now. So I'm wondering how we plan to deal with the Atlas, especially Tamal. Like he is one of those. One of the problems you always get with some of these Atlas picks is how they come at the team, right from the front or right from the rear. That's always the worst part for an Atlas. These really skilled Atlas players can come from the side, come from bushes, especially with that flicker, and like there's just no way to avoid it. So there needs to be a plan in place for it. So maybe, I mean, the only way I see a very successful engagement from Team Sexy is going to have to be pickoffs and having your guys kind of spread out more. But
is Nicolette roam?
No, Nicolette, I'm guessing, is going to be roam with this Selena, and then Shinra will pick up the Julian in the mid lane here. Now, so once again, Team Sexy going into a aggressive early game comp. If you can land the arrows on Selena in the early game, you can almost guarantee a kill. Julian also gonna want to run in, and you have this Ling now. Ling, like, I don't know. I think I kind of have to disagree with you, Pryor. I think Ling is still like one of the few assassins who still has a place. I just think we do not get to see him played that much. I think like him and Fanny are definitely like the only two assassins who can still rival against this tanky meta because of their movement, because of the ability to split push and do several other things and get around the map. The thing is, we just don't get to see it. We haven't really gotten to see a balls to the wall Ling player do his thing over here in NA, and whether it has to do with server issues, whether it has to do with ping issues, it's whatever. But hopefully best player can pull it together for this game and make something work with this Ling. We are now jumping into the second game. This is a best of 3 for anyone just jumping in. New Wave is up 1 game.
Yeah, we do see a little bit of force up here at the top as Ales Fanboy taking a lot of damage. Nicolette latches onto him, is able to take Fanboy down for an early death, does use that Abyssal Arrow to kind of ward off Tamal, and a good pickup early game for Team Sexy.
A beautiful pickup, and that's what exactly, if Nicolette can keep doing that, not only that, but it's a pickup onto L's Fanboy, right? It's a pickup onto the gold laner, so you're already giving Beatrix a nice advantage here. You're already giving Beatrix a little bit of a step up. This is going to force Tamal to babysit even more into that gold lane, and when this turtle comes up, it should help Team Sexy take it immediately.
Yeah, well, one of the things I do want to point out is that Team Sexy does not want to drag this off to the late game. New Wave is just going to have a lot of sustainability here.
Oh, we do see that last insanity coming out from Nikto is able to ward away Nicolette and Best Player. And here comes Best Player. Oh, and they are able to steal that gold clap. And here comes the Tempest Blades down onto the members here, but does get stunned is Best Player, and he takes a heap of damage. But Ael's fanboy gets popped up and taken out with that enhanced chains, but it doesn't look like Shinra's gonna get that for free, as now, oh my god, even Tamal goes down. So he does get it for free, and he actually picks up another kill for that. So it is now 3-0 in favor of Team Sexy.
All right. Oh, okay, Shinra, we see ya. I mean, I thought he was definitely going down. I was about to start screaming, worth it, because either way, you get the gold lane, right? And then he's got that escape ready to go, pushes it to the limit, and is able to get out of there. Serious now with three assists under his belt as well. Nikto does take this turtle, but it's definitely a solid trade for the side of Team Sexy here, G.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing so well, and again, like I was saying, like, and I want to pick up back onto what I was saying here, like being 3-0 in the early game is exactly what they need to do for the side of Team Sexy. They have a little bit of sustainability with the Uranus, but it's not enough, you know, like it's private.
Yeah, Dogtar is in a little bit of trouble here, does get caught trying to cut the lane, and Team Sexy says, not here, this is our jungle. Mamil getting a little bit of trouble. No, the snipe from Sirius is able to take out Mamil.
We got ourselves a best of 3, boy. We got ourselves a possible best of 3 here.
Maybe
definitely
swapping up the, you know, Nicolette going roam this time instead of Big Papa.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a roam that works for her, right? Like, and we've seen her pick up the roam occasionally. We saw her play the Franco in like the first game of the season for them. We've seen her roll into that roles. But I think this is a roam that she can actually like really excel on. Like, this is something that sometimes you may play as a mage, right? You may not always play the Selena roam. You may play it as a mid laner. So it's something that's not too unconventional for her, right? And she's definitely showing the pressure. She's giving vision. She's landing these arrows. And it's keeping Team Sexy at a bit of a stand back. Now, you mentioned late game. Now, New Wave definitely does have that opportunity, right? We know that this X-Borg could be a problem. Nikto has not taken any deaths. He's just kind of hanging out, waiting for his time to strike, and they are collapsing here, Private.
Yeah, oh, we do have the Fatal Links coming in. Sirius in a little bit of trouble, does get taken down, and the Nicolette is able to flicker out, but here comes the last insanity. Is it going to be enough as Shinra comes in to provide some type of backup? Tempest Blades comes down onto Nikto, is able to clean that up as well, and Mamil is the last one left. Oh, and catches an Abyssal Arrow, but Nicolette not in a position to be able to capitalize on it, and Mamil wisely disengages from this fight.
For a split second. Wait,
yeah, another Abyssal Arrow does connect on the Dogtar, and we do see the falling Star Moon does come down, but it's not enough. Nicolette is going to go ahead, try to disengage here. Here is Big Papa onto Dogtar. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get away as the smoke coming from Dogtar as he activates that sprint to be able to get away.
Now, you were about to say before that Tamal got that fatal. Oh, hold on, they're still going. Nicolette may go down, does get taken out. Sirius wants a little bit more. Fanboy able to get away with a sliver of health. For a second there, we thought nothing was going to happen. Tamal forces that engage, and now Team Sexy is evolving more and more to the end. Turtle does go over to Nikto though.
Yeah, Tempest Blades comes down, but it is the, it looks like the enhanced chains able to finish off Nikto. What? Somebody apparently used L in chat because we've been having problems with that. Oh, Mamil just wide of that Abyssal Arrow there from Nicolette. And man, what a dominating performance right now by Team Sexy. And this is what needs to be done against a team like New Wave.
I'm sorry, I'm still dead for in three seasons of casting, never had that happen. And the funny thing about that is he's got to be saying something to his teammates, because we would see it in the all chat. We banned all chatting, so you know he's just like in his zone right now. Best player's just like, yeah, let's fucking do it. Oh, let's do this.
And we do see Atlas go down now as well. Damage onto Fanboy as he's going to try to disengage. Is not able to get away here. And that is another kill going over to Team Sexy. 11-4 into the 6-minute mark of this match.
Okay, but we got to keep our eyes on the gold, right? So New Wave, he's actually staying line in line with them, blow for blow with them. Yes, they're behind in 7 kills right now, but the gold is at a dead even. They actually took the first tower of the game. So New Wave definitely keeping their composure and not too far behind, just waiting to see if we could finally see the big power spike come in from Team Sexy here, or is New Wave going to rubber band back?
Oh, we do see Shinra in a little bit of trouble. Is going to have to flicker away. Nicolette does launch out an Abyssal Arrow just wide of Mamil. I do like Shinra and Nicolette's damage here and how they're able to cohesively get these kills off. And Nikto trying to run for his life as Big Papa chasing him off there. Mamil in a little bit of trouble. I don't know if I think she still does have those black boots. No, she doesn't. So she was, or he was going to have to run away from that. Dogter still trying to press the advantage here, but is going to have to disengage with 3 members of Team Sexy here, and does not get away in time as that Abyssal Arrow lands, and they clean it up quickly, opening up this turtle for Team Sexy.
Man, I mean, Ales Fanboy having a bit of a rough game here, right? 1-5-2. Mamiel now gets picked off, and Team Sexy is thriving. This is exactly what they like to do. This is what we wanted to see in game 1, and now they finally found their groove. They found some positions, and they're able to keep pressure on.
Yeah, and they just keep on coming on. Tempest the Blades up at the top onto Nikto. It does take him out, and Best Player is on a roll right now. Else Bad Boy in a little bit of trouble here. This might not be the fight that he wants. Abyssal Arrow just wide, but down goes Fanboy, followed quickly behind by Shinra as Big Papa's going to go ahead and activate that sprint to get away. And it is a 17-5 game right now. And just as we were talking about them being able to keep up with gold, look at it now.
And Gosu now putting on some flip push, but will go down. Mamiel able to pick up that kill, which is good for them. They slow down Best Player just a little bit, but while that's happening, Sirius now chipping away at the bottom tower. So even though New Wave was holding it at a standstill, Team Sexy was just waiting for the moment to really start pushing in, and now we're seeing them. All bottom lane is clear. All top lane is clear. They've taken the tier 3 in the mid. Only one more tower till it's nothing but inhibitors from the side of New Wave. Now the gold lead is a little bit less than how far ahead we saw New Wave in game 1, but Team Sexy still has a nice advantage. New Wave is going to need to try to staunch this out for a solid another 5 minutes or so, you know, another 10k gold, letting Nikto get another item, letting Dogtor get a few more items, until the rest of the team can really do something. Speaking of Dogtor, he is slain. Shinra gets that pick, G.
Yeah, dude, and this is what I was saying, and Team Sexy is doing so good at it, and I gotta give a big shout out to Nicolette. Just like these Abyssal Arrows are just nasty, constantly taking the picks on teams like that. So look, oh my god.
Oh, Lethal Cutter does come out with the last insanity out of them. Shinra does flicker out of the way. Nicolette might be caught. She is not going to be getting away from here, and neither is Shinra. We do see Tempest of Blades coming down. Not sure it's going to be enough. Is able to use that Finch post to get out of there, but Nikto, wait. Who was that? No, that wasn't Nikto. But they're up at the top. Like, he is able to use the Finch. Yeah. It does open up the Lord now for New Wave.
Yeah, and that's the problem with Tamal, right? Tamal able to make that one big play that changes everything, puts the game back into the hands of New Wave. Yes, they are down a lot of towers, but that gold lead is now only turned into 1,000 for Team Sexy, and New Wave is able to go onto the aggression. So Team Sexy, yes, you had a nice lead, but you still need to continue. You know, there gets a point where you don't want to be too aggressive, and you always need to keep an eye out for Tamal. Look at him now sitting in this bush, patient, waiting for the play. He's got that Fatal Links ready to go. Lord is coming. I don't think New Wave is going to want to push too hard with this. They're going to want to just kind of reclaim some ground here.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the biggest mistakes that we didn't want to see from the side of Team Sexy here. Like that team wipe there, and then the Lord push. Now the super minions are they're gonna capitalize on it, and that's a mistake you don't want to make.
Yeah, we do see a little bit of these minions starting to come into midway. Big Papa in a little bit of trouble, does run into 4 members of New Wave, and he does get taken down, and the rest of Team Sexy is powerless. Tamal with a concealed play does stick a lead into it, and she is powerless. She gets taken down as well. That is a 2-for-none trade right now, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to protect this mid tower with the next wave coming in.
I think they just need to give it up. I think they need to not worry too much about it. Let it go down. You're still ahead in towers. You still have plenty of room to move. And the gold is now to even, so you have the opportunity. But Best Player wants to come in with his Tempest of Blades.
Yeah, he does, and he does succeed in trying to take down most of the minions coming in there, and it looks like that was basically their big plan, was to try to take out the minions, but they weren't able to get all of them down, and that mid tower does go down as 3 players now running up to the top lane here. Best player in a little bit of trouble as we see that last insanity coming out. Dashing away is best player. Does he have a Finch pose yet? He might be waiting a little bit. Oh my god, it's gonna be taken out here. Finch pose, he does get out of there, but here is Kamal with those fatal links, does take out best player, and Shinra trying to help, might want to get out of here right now as man, they are 2 players down right now. The score 20-14, but the gold is all tied up as the minions are kind of clashing against this top tower of Team Sexy.
That
Yeah, we got a
communication
game here,
was
boys.
insane. That communication on the chase on Ling, they knew what he was gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, and Jamal's there, pulls him off the wall. Definitely a beautiful play. But as Private said, gold is even. New Wave's actually taking a little bit of 1,000 gold lead, but I think when we're at 12.5 minutes, 1,000 isn't a lot. You know, both sides have been going back and forth. I think Team Sexy needs to slow it down a little. We just saw Nicolette get picked off, and then after Nicolette gets picked off, Sirius comes in, dashes in. He does get the kill, but he's not able to do anything. Big stun on Shinra there with the fatal link. Will get the lead.
What do you do when a Tamal is coming at you at 100 miles an hour? He was not getting away from that. I've never seen an Atlas move so fast in my life.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, how in the world?
Does he have the speed boots on right now? I'd like to, let's take a look at Tamal, see what he's rocking here on the items. He has picked up those speed boots, so we lock in that conceal play. We got the speed boots and the second skill. It's true, and he's coming in from a distance and making these plays happen. Like there's just once they know that one of you are kind of far off. Oh!
Yeah, and unfortunately, it does look like Sirius does get baited into that attack, but Tamal does go down. Big Papa trying to get out of here, is able to disengage, so they are in a decent position, but do lose this Lord. Tons of plays coming down. Ails Fanboy does survive. Oh no, he does get taken out by Shinra. A huge pop-up from those enhanced chains, and Mamiel and Nikto are in a little bit of trouble, trying to disengage here while Dogtor tries to support that escape.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So now, Team Sexy, doing a little better at some of these micro mechanics, kind of getting it back together. Shinra definitely been popping off. Find a moment. For a second, it looked like Ails was going to get away from that fight, and I was very worried, because if he did, that's just like a bad spot. Like, you don't want to keep... You get so close to taking someone out, and you just can't take out that golden later, but Shinra seems to always be there making a play. Nicolette now locking on Kamal here. Ooh. The burst damage is serious on the sniper. Yeah, it is serious.
It's kind of ridiculous here right now. Dogtar is kind of warding off. I'm not sure they're going to be able to take down both Nikto and Dogtar here. We do see that last insanity coming down. Damage onto Shinra. He does not survive, but here is the rest of Team Sexy here. Best player latching onto Esmeralda. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get the kill. Does latch on, but that immortality is activated onto that export. So now they're going to have to disengage here.
Hold on, Shinra does survive.
Yeah, that's what I was
Able
about to say.
get away. That man is an
winner
escape
trench.
king. This is Houdini right here. Shinra the Houdini. The man waits till, I mean, he's so good at timing that till he has that 10% HP, and then just I feel like all the skills for Julian are called chains, so I always forget. But he's able to, like, the little dash away. He times it so well, and he's always able to get away. And it looks like he goes down, but then out of nowhere he appears 10 steps away, and he walks right out of the team fight like nothing happened. The man has definitely been doing very well in this hero. Can't wait to see how he plays in the next phases. But Tamal trying to make a possible engage onto Shinra.
Very smooth transition from Sinra, able to get out of there, but Sirius in a little bit of trouble there, is going to go ahead and dash away as they are kind of getting pushed out of their jungle right now. And these are the team fights. This is where they're going to start excelling, is New Wave, but we do see a little bit of a split push happening at bottom for Team Sexy.
And that's what they need to do, keep on pressure. They have the lanes, they have the Uranus, they have the ability to control the macro of these lanes and keep on going. I think that's something we may want to see best players start doing a bit more, right? Like maybe really start dancing around into these off lanes and let the rest of your team kind of handle the mid and handle some of the aggression that New Wave tries to bring in here.
Yeah, and again, I was saying, you know how like it has to go into the late game. Team Sexy now approaching into the late game here. Team Sexy needs to watch out for Tamal, because watch this play here. They're gonna jump on Big Papa.
Yeah, Big Papa's trying to get away, but I'm not sure he's going to be able to get out of here. Does get stunned and picked up with that fatal links as the rest of... Oh my god! I love that Sirius does force out that black shoes from Mamiel. All the damage coming from that sniper there, but it does look like they are in a better position here. Nicolette trying to get away from this. Atlas is going to be able to latch on. Nope, Nicolette is able to dash away to safety. Does launch out an abyssal arrow, but it goes wide. Big fight here at the turtle, or at the Lord right now, that only... Oh, a big pop-up by the Lord, and Sirius is going to use this opportunity. Best player picks up the Lord. Tempest of Blades coming down, is able to get away to safety. I don't think so. Put some damage on wide abyssal arrow, but they are able to pick up Nikto. Best player taken down with the wave of the world from Fanboy on this Bruno, and Tamal misses a fatal links and is luckily able to get away with a sliver of health.
Best player with the Lord Steal of the night right there. Almost escapes with his life, just gets cut off. Team Sexy really, in these team fights, the way that Sirius and the rest of the team are like playing their distance, kind of not like just fully engaging, but dancing around in these team fights and the micro mechanics, definitely doing a very good job at it. Shinra now trying to push in. Lord may connect onto this inhibitor.
Yeah, we do see Doctor is trying to zone out the rest of Team Sexy. Abyssal Arrow comes in, does go wide of Tamal, so the rest of Team Sexy not really pushing their advantage here yet. We do see, and now the Lord is down, and it looks like the rest of New Wave is starting to kind of push in, being a little bit more aggressive, but not being very safe now, as they're going to clear up these lanes on their towers.
Yeah. We're seeing the problem that comes from not having a actual tank, right? We're seeing the problem from not having something to really open the door. Everyone's ranged. You have this arrow that needs to come out. You have all these different things that need to come out and try to land, but they have nobody to really like push in the engage, right? And we just saw the Lord. No one was able to really push in with that Lord other than the Uranus. So at this point, they need to either really catch someone off guard or make a big play here. They do finally take an inhibitor on the bottom.
Yeah, the inhibitor goes down as they are still on the chase here. It does look like Big Papa in a little bit of trouble here. Is going to go ahead and activate that consecration. Is it going to be enough? He is able to get away. He does go ahead and put the Nas on with that sprint.
Nas on the sprint, definitely. I mean, Big Papa at this point, similar to the Esmeralda, right? Going to really be able to just be a nuisance, and we're now seeing him rotate down to the bottom. I'm gonna mess around with the top, then I'm gonna rotate down to the bottom real fast, push that wave, and we're just gonna do this back and forth dance. 40 seconds in the Lord now. We're 20 minutes in. Team Sexy does have a slight gold lead, but at this point, the gold lead doesn't really matter. And as long as Team Sexy, I feel like, can dodge Tamal, can play around Tamal, and make sure they don't fall into a 2 or 3 man fatal link. So really just, I mean, all he really needs to catch is one of them, and it's a huge deal at this point, right? As long as they can dance around Tamal, I feel like Team Sexy can take this game and bring us to a game 3. But if Tamal gets one big play, it is GG's. And Sirius with that sniper is something serious. Mami will force to use those black shoes. Good play 5 seconds before the Lord. Now they're down one of their utilities.
Oh, Nicolette is able to dash away, but Tamal does connect with that fatal links. Nicolette dashes away, but does get hit with the last insanity. Might be taking a heap of damage here as Nikto trying to take him down. Does take him down, but look at the rest of New Wave. Look how low they are. Dogtar gonna get taken down by Sirius here. No, Dogtar's able to escape. Oh my gosh.
Sirius isn't gonna let this happen. Sirius isn't gonna let this happen. Sirius,
They're gonna end.
They might try. I mean, it's 4-man down, 30 seconds on the clock. This could be a private.
Yeah, we do see them coming in with this. They're not even gonna wait for the Lord. Tamal does get taken down here and does activate that immortality, but they are wailing away onto this core. This is game 2 going over to Team Sexy.
GG's. Wow. You know, after game 1, I was a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little bit stressed out, but Team Sexy, you know, I said in the very beginning, very beginning, Team Sexy are always full of surprises. Just when I count them out, they always pull something out of their pocket and come through. And that's why it's so hard to like go against them, because I'm always like, even for the NACT, I put them as possible winners, because I was just thinking like they might just, you know, like you never know. Like, you never know with them. They have some games where it just seems like they are completely different people.
Yeah.
Man, oh,
Oh, no, you're good.
go ahead. Go ahead, G. Go ahead.
All right. So, well, what I was gonna say here, I suspected the game ended early. It didn't, and it went to the late, and New Wave still wasn't able to excel at it. So it was absolutely crazy to see that, and I think it just came down to what you were saying, T-Rex, just dodging them all.
Yeah, they were able to stay away from him towards that late game private.
Let's talk about Nicolette. I mean, I want to say she opened the door with the harassment, with the offense that she was able to put out in the early game, landing all of these abyssal arrows onto them, the damage that they were able to make off of that. And this was what I was talking about, the initiation. And you were talking about how good she ran on this. Even though it's a roam, it's something that she really shined in as a roam because it's a mage as well, and it's something that she can play as a roam. She can get the vision out there. She can start poking around with those abyssal arrows and get the sets. And it was just, I want to say, the backbone of the team. It allowed the perfect storm of best player. And one of the things I do feel that while I'm not a big fan of Ling because of how he can be when he falls behind, that opened the door for best player to kind of keep them in the lead and keep Ling in a good and ahead position. And then as we moved into the later, Shinra with the amazing damage. The entire team played so great. And especially with the snipes coming from them on this Beatrix as well. It was the perfect storm, the perfect comp for Team Sexy here. And man, I lost faith a little bit just because of the Atlas. I know how Atlas can be, but how they were kind of staggered around the map and how they were catching out New Wave, it was just so perfect for the Atlas. I think the biggest fatal links he landed was on 2 players on that team because of how well they were spacing out.
Yeah, I mean, even what I want to say, I want to see Nicolette on more Selena. We haven't seen a lot of Selena, and it's definitely the last player I saw play Selena to the point where teams were banning it out was Eugen. Eugen was a monster on Selena to the point where everyone that was going against the Valley was banning out his Selena because Selena is a problem for a lot of teams. It is an issue, and if you can land those zeros correctly, it can be something huge. So now as we jump into the third game, New Wave up against Team Sexy, will we see that Selena ban? Will we see some things change with New Wave's draft here, G?
Yeah, and I hope so. What I was seeing from the side of Team Sexy, though, they did exactly what I was wanting them to kind of do. I wanted them to be a little bit more sustainable, but again, Nicolette just was excelling as the roam. Like, the roam was lacking in the first game, came back, swapped it around, and did really well. Can they do that again, though?
Well, and this is the problem when it comes to these very specific bans. I mean, there's a reason there's a meta, and there's a reason there's normal bans in the first place. You can ban out Nicolette. We already do see that Linux getting banned out. The Franco was getting banned out. And I mean, are you going to add Selena to that list? Because now we're kind of going into the territory of what are we giving them? Julian, I feel like, might be a priority here. We've seen how great both of these teams can do with that Julian. The amount of damage that he's able to get out still right now. I mean, you guys are on the fence about him. I feel like some organized play.
He's a monster.
I feel like right now, I think the question has been answered. I mean, it's to the point like, yeah, Julian's a menace. He needs to be stopped. And I think the easiest way to do that would be a ban. Oh, but yeah. And in answer to your guys' question, there goes the Selena. But I feel like Selena is just as lethal. She's like, I almost want to say she's like a different version of a Franco, because you're afraid of the same thing, except Selena does have the added dangerousness of having vision too that she can throw out there. But you're going to be looking in those bushes. You're going to be afraid for those hooks and stuff. So we're going to see what Team Sexy can do as and here comes that Masha.
I knew they had a plan the moment I seen them ban Julian when they had a first pick. Like, they forced it. They forced the Valentina ban with banning that Julian to get that Masha. This is rough. First pick.
I mean, but there's still a lot open, right? Like you still have the Thamus open, you have the Beatrix open. There goes the Thamus. I think the Beatrix would honestly Thamus Beatrix. You cover so many bases right there up front. I think it'd be solid pickup, and you've already banned out the Eve. You've already banned out some of the mage pool onto the side of New Wave. So cover your bases, put a nice early game defensive frontliner up with a nice mid to late game damage dealer. The Claude can work as well, as long as you can deal with the Beatrix that's probably going to get picked up now from New Wave.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting too, because if you are, depending on how your marksmans are going to be played here, I was going to say, if you're going to pick up that Beatrix, then you're gonna need some sort of peel, some sort of disengagement from them, so that this Masha is not just latching onto your marksman. I do like Claude in this respect because he does get that movement speed. You do see him picking up sprint here, so he is going to be able to get himself in and out of situations here and kind of like play ring around the rosy with this Masha. So I do like that pickup from Team Sexy here.
Yeah, and you know, like, again, on the side of Team Sexy, they're building a little bit tanky, but so is New Wave. I mean that.
Okay. Okay.
Fanny though, T-Rex.
I like it. I mean, we've seen best player on the Fanny, and I remember during the NACT when he was picking up the Fanny, we haven't seen him play that in like a long time, right? And a lot of people were like hating on it, but the reality is maybe he didn't go like 15-0, but he went like 5-0. Or he went like 7-1. You know what I'm saying? Which, yes, like I said, he's not the flashiest. He's not the crazy pro global 1x2 Super Saiyan Fanny that everyone wants to see. But he does the job. He gets the kills and he doesn't die. So if he can do that, if he can make some picks onto Ales Fanboy, who we saw last game having some trouble when he gets focused on, right? Like we saw in game 2, if you put pressure on Ales Fanboy, sometimes he does fold, right? Sometimes he does give over some death. So with Gosu best player picking up this Fanny, we could see that opportunity come again.
Yeah, and it's really interesting how this draft has transformed, because these were basically the first two bans from both of these teams in the first match here, and now we have both of them getting their priority picks here, basically with the Masha and the Fanny. I mean, and we've seen, I mean, like you said, he's not the flashiest Fanny, but he's a great Fanny, and because Fanny right now is not in a position to where she can stomp people, but still she's got a high ceiling that where if you can play them great, which best player does, they are just a menace to the opposing team. And wisely, we do see that Atlas getting taken out by the side of New Wave there, which opens up Nicolette now, going to be picking up that Lilia.
And the Lilia is strong. The Lilia is good, man. I feel like we haven't seen a lot of her in the NACT. We didn't see, like, she kind of fell off, but Lilia's a solid pick, especially I feel like up against this Masha, up against this Dyroth, whatever other physical hero they want to pick up, which might just end up being this. I'm having a total mind blank right now.
Don't tease
yeah,
me.
we do see. Yeah, we I don't know if I have seen them pick up Kaja. I don't think he's had the greatest of success. Martis is interesting though, because he has had a couple of buffs to him in recent time, and I haven't really seen how well he works yet. But we're gonna go ahead. It looks like that New Wave is very confident in this Martis jungle pickup. Yeah, it's something new, something different.
That is so spicy. Now, is that for the Fanny, right? Like, I'm pretty sure his CC does mess her up a little bit, right? Like, does delay her, can catch her off guard. So you're putting a lot of eggs into that basket, though, right? Like, because he's just about the only one who's going to stop her. And there are other options, but they banned out the Kufa, right? They banned out some of their other options. So they're forced to go with this Martis jungle, a first time in the NASL in its entirety in the past 3 seasons. I don't even know if we've seen a Martis off lane, let alone a jungle. So definitely excited to see. I mean, what better team to debut it than New Wave?
True. And the Fanny.
Yeah,
I think this is the first time we've ever seen Fanny in the NASL.
I don't know if it's the first, maybe this season. Definitely for best player, because I was super shocked whenever he played in the NACT, because I had never seen him like play it competitively yet. So
Yeah. So yeah, this is actually the first time Martis has been picked in NA this year. I want to say, because he's sitting at a spicy 0% in NASL and NACT as well. So we're gonna see how well his debut here is in NA, especially as a jungler too. A lot of eyes on that position.
Yeah, definitely. But we are jumping now into the final game of this series. New Wave up against Team Sexy. They've gone blow for blow, gone game for game, but it all comes down to this, on who will take the win tonight. The odds are in. Honestly, I feel like both teams have some favorability here. I'm a little worried about how this Marty's jungle works, but theoretically it should help deal with the Fanny, right? Theoretically, it could do something, but Team Sexy already once again being aggressive, staying on Team New Wave's side of the map.
Oh yeah, look at just this, already showing you the skill. Gets his ankles broken, does best player, but they're trying to pick up this purple buff. I'm not sure they're going to be able to make it here. A wall coming down from Shinra is going to be able to separate them and Nikto, but Tamal kind of pushing in a little deep on here, not afraid, especially on this Masha.
And that slows best player down, going for that pick and not getting it. Now Nikto, yes, it's not a big difference, but in a game like this, in a game of seconds, in minutes, Nikto has a little bit of an XP advantage, right? And he's going to be able to clear through some of this a bit faster, hit this level 4 about 5 or 10 seconds before best player. And 5 or 10 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but it's enough for him to try to make a play onto this gold lane now.
Yeah, we do see Nikto is in the jungle right now, as Shinra's going to have to catch a quick ride back to the base. Lilia now coming in here now is going to try to put on some damage here, ward away Nikto, and we have this turtle coming up in 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a turtle that I feel like both teams are going to go for. We know best player's going to be able to get there with these ropes down in the mid lane. Little something happening. Nikto making the engage.
Yeah, and this is the problem as we're seeing with Nikto, and this is the problem I see with Martis. Yeah, he does kind of counter the Fanny, but you have to be able to aim at the Fanny. And with these cables and the way best player plays it, he's just all over the map. We do see him getting harassed a little bit here at the blue buff, while the rest of New Wave is focused on this turtle. So it's going to see if they're going to be able to do it. Fanny is going to have to get out of there, best player, so they're going to leave this turtle wide open for New Wave.
Yeah, Nikto and Tamal just being super aggressive with it, and Big Papa may also go down. Does have sustainability. First blood going over to Mamiel there.
Yeah, we do see, unfortunately, it does go down like that. Oh, and onto Dogtor as best player able to clean up on that Fanny, and now they're in a perfect position to pick up this turtle. And again, this early game aggression, and probably the best recipe against New Wave right now is this Fanny and this early game and how they've been playing it here. Oh, Shinra taking down the half health as Ails fanboy catches him sleeping in that bush.
Yeah, they're going to have to be careful. Ails in his zone right now. With this Beatrix, he's definitely solid. But Sirius hasn't taken any deaths yet, right? Like, he's feeling pretty good, too. He's not too far behind or anything like that. And Sirius wants to just play for this mid to late game until his blazing duets, until he can get some of these rotations down into the mid and be involved in more of these team fights.
Yeah, a lot of pressure being put onto this gold lane, but like you said, Sirius having a good play right now. It is about a 3v1 here up at the top here. Everybody's being very patient. I don't know if Shinra wants to do it. It is now a 4v1, and Sirius might be in a little bit of trouble. Does throw out that teleport. He's going to get caught by the Yin-Yang overture, but is he able to get away with that blazing duet as well? And it looked like a bad play there. Now Nikto does get taken down. Tamal in the bad way now is trying to chase him his way out of here. I'm not sure he's going to be able to do it, punching his way through this bush, but is going to get picked up by Nicolette. Ails fanboy does let out those bombs, but it doesn't pick up and do too much damage. Oh, Black Shoes is activated as Nicolette almost got a quick ride home.
Yeah, they're doing it. I mean, right there. Shinra there in the nick of time. New Wave actually over since think they have the position, and they just don't have the vision on the best player or Shinra. Best player making a play.
Yeah, he does come in with those cables, does land the cutthroat, but it wasn't enough damage, and there wasn't enough health taken off of Mamil at the time for that cutthroat to do to finish the job off. We do see Sirius, and Shinra comes in with that wild charge, does go wide of Fanboy, and here comes Nikto to help kind of with this engagement, but it is a 4v2. Here comes Best Player. Blazing Duet is out, but it doesn't do enough damage. Both teams doing a great job of fending off these attacks. Oh, but we do see Best Player diving in there, is going to be able to get away. Look at these cables, I'm still able to escape. Oh my gosh. And this is the problem with Best Player on this Fanny, but Nicolette does go down at the top. Tamal putting on the damage onto Sirius, and now he's not going to be able to use those auto attacks. Best Player trying to pick this up, and it does look like we have calmed down a little bit. Mamil, like both these teams just not letting up. Continual pressure is the name of the game right now.
Yeah, and they're both doing a wonderful job at it. Taking a look at the gold, Team Sexy is a little bit up, but Best Player now wanting to re-engage. Wild charge locked in, and Nikto goes down. This should give this turtle over to the side of Team Sexy, but knowing Tamal, knowing the aggression that he wants to bring, he's, you know, we already know you're not going to get this turtle easily. You're not going to get it for free. Mami and Tamal holding the distance.
Yeah, we do see the turtle is down to about 10% health here as the rest of New Wave is being zoned out. And this is what I was talking about on this Martis. On paper, it's a great counter for Fanny, but you have to be able to land those abilities. And on a fly, like movements of Fanny, man, that is easier said than done.
So now that things have calmed down a little bit, let's take a look at these items, G. Let's see where everyone's sitting at right now.
Yeah, I mean, so looking at the items, you know, like what I'm thinking here is like the Fanny's already getting a decent amount, you know, like we're already looking at Blade of Hex there, you know, like they've got some serious damage, but doesn't have full engage just yet. So definitely going to be seeing Best Player like flip a switch here soon, but Private.
Oh.
Yeah, we do see the Blazing Duet comes on the Fanboy, is able to get out of the way, but Shinra taking a lot of damage from Tamal here as he is swinging away, but does able to get the, Sirius is in a little bit of trouble here. Nikta diving into that tower. That might not be the fight that he wants, but that is the counter that we were talking about. Look at how he pops up Best Player, but no, Nikto is in a little bit of trouble here. Tamal not able to save him as they put a little bit of damage and think twice about diving into this tower, especially they must have smelled Fanboy in that bush just waiting for the opportunity to kind of counter that dive.
And now the Best Player, he just locked in that Malefic Roar. He's gonna, monster kill going over to Best Player. We know, all right, maybe he is a little flashy. Maybe he's a little flashy. Maybe, I don't know when Best Player hit the switch in the past month or two, but the man is back to playing Assassin Heroes in these events, and it is good to see. The dude got better internet. Something happened, because this man is 6-0 on this Fanny right now, and he's looking good. Now, eventually that will start to fall off. He did go for that Malefic Roar a little bit early, right? We're not going to stop for this because we know nothing big's going to happen here. These are just two walls butting up against each other, but he picked up the Malefic Roar, and this is going to help him a little bit not fall off as early, right? Like be able to do even more damage onto Tamal, onto Nikto. If Nikto ends up deciding to build tanky, right? Like so far he's gone for the Hunter Strike. It looks like next up is going to be either the Bloodlust Axe. Yeah, he's definitely going for the Bloodlust Axe next. Give him a little bit of lifesteal, a little bit of spell vamp. Be able to also have some sustainability. Serious though with the Blazing Duet, but Nicolette is always there.
Concealed Play does get a stun onto Fanboy, but he is going to have to back off there. But both Fanboy and Tamal are taking a little bit low, and here comes Best Player looking for the cutthroat. Flicker does say Fanboy, but look at oh no, you overturn out the Best Player. He's going to be able to get away. Cables away to safety as Doctor's on the chase, able to pick off the kill onto Best Player.
What a chase. What a chase, G.
Are we playing cops and robbers right now? Because like, people are just running left and right. Like nobody can catch anybody, but Dogtor able to get that catch was insane. Was such a great play. Oh my God, the aggression.
Yeah, we do see Mamil is going to have to go ahead and run away. Tamal up at the top is zoning out Sirius, and we do see the dive in from Tamal here as the rest of New Wave taken very lowly. Here, Big Papa able to pick up the kill onto Dogtor, and we do have a dive. Ills Fanboy is going to have to back off as this Lord is looking real nice for Team Sexy.
So let's get back to this Martiz, right? Theoretically, it could have done okay, right? Theoretically, it maybe could have been something, but 0, 3, and 1 goes through best players, picked it apart. Not just best player, but the whole team has picked it apart. Best player's done a great job at timing his engages, waiting for that skill 1 to go off by Nikto, waiting for him to use some of his kit so that best player knows he cannot be affected, that he can kind of just roam free. Now, at this point, New Wave is a little bit behind, but before we talk too much about that, Lord is up private.
Yeah, we do see that Nikto and Tamal are here. Concealed play from Shinra is coming in. Wild Charge does connect with the stun, but Nikto able to dash his way to safety. We do have a blazing duet onto the back line. As that player goes down, Big Papa able to pick up the Lord here, so it is a success, but a big shotgun blast to the face of Big Papa on that Thamus. So not sure you got the Lord, but you took 2 deaths for it.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a misplay there, right? And they're going to be able to clear this Lord in the top lane quite quickly with Tamal, Dogcore, now AO's Formboy. I feel like Shinra should probably just like leave it, like just have it and try to claim something on the rest of the map. But it does seem like Team Sexy wants to maybe get something out of this. Alex Fanboy deletes Nicolette. Tamal does go down here. Dogcore continues to chip away at this Lord. I'm wondering if we're going to see anything more here.
I mean,
both the Fanny, best player, they're just being constant. Like, look.
Yeah, and this is the problem here is the complacency that happens toward the mid and late game if you have a little bit of a lead. Teleporting out there right in the middle of the lane, probably not the best answer for this type of game yet. Best player is taking a heap of damage, cannot just nakedly charge into the enemy like that right now. Like, they're starting to get wise to the Fanny. They're starting to have counters. They're starting to be able to survive as best players not able to one-shot them anymore.
Not only are they surviving as well, like they push the lanes in. They have more tower control.
Yeah, they definitely taking over some map control, but Team Sexy doesn't want to let that map control go up easily. They are taking this fight.
Yeah, they are onto Tamal here, but this is not the target you really want to be wasting all these abilities for, because this is going to open it up. And look at this player get taken out with a shotgun blast and does get taken out. And this is what I'm talking about, like the choices for your targets here. Doctor is going to get latched on here as Sirius puts on some damage here, but a lot of abilities wasted on that Masha.
Yeah, that was rough. They are still going there. Dogtor may go down here, does get taken out private.
Yeah, we do see that the rest, Mamiel able to take down Big Papa as the rest of Team Sexy is going to have to disengage. Sirius coming in with a blazing duet, is trying to put on the damage, is not enough just yet as Nicolette able to pick up Ail's Fanboy. So a good pick up by Team Sexy. Shinra running circles around Nikto here a bit as they're going to go ahead and try to push in this middle lane, and wisely up at the top, best player doing his best to kind of split push here. And we do see the damage coming in here, and this is going to be an easy mid tower for the side of Team Sexy.
All right, now let's talk about that shotgun to the face on the best player. So it seems like Ail's Fanboy is definitely no longer the target for him, at least not alone. Best player may need to start building a tank item or something, you know, maybe pick up the antique cuirass, pick up something to deal with some of that burst damage, maybe a brute force breastplate, something to deal with the burst damage from Ail's Fanboy, with Tamal, with Mamiel. He's doing enough damage, I feel like, as it is, and he is starting to lean into that, right? Maybe he's going for the possible, nope, he's definitely going for the antique cuirass here, right? So, which is good. It's a plus. Now he can possibly take, you know, 1 or 2 shots instead of just one and you're gone, right? And we are seeing a bit more of a fight. This could be the fight for the Lord here, private.
Yeah, we do see them kind of standing off here, are a little bit split up, are the side of Team Sexy, as we do see best player is kind of getting chased here a little bit, is going to have to get out of the way. Dogtor chasing him on that Dairoth here. They're both trying to set up positions here. So this is possibly going to be, no. Look how fast best player is trying to get back to this fight. They are definitely not trying to let up. They're trying to keep the pressure onto the lanes while dancing around the possibility of still being able to fight for the Lord. And here comes best player swinging in in and out. And we do have a wild charge, and they are going to latch on to Nikto, picking him up quite easily, and this is going to open up the Lord. But Tamal is inside the bush waiting for them. I'm not sure what his plan was, but I know it wasn't to get 5v1'd from the side. Oh my God, look at Nicolette is already half. I'm not sure if she's going to be able to use that black or the black shoes yet. It does use it now, and Tamal taking a heap of damage there. But this Lord definitely going over to the side of Team Sexy. So a good play, a good zonage by them, especially after they picked off Nikto.
Yeah, after you get that retribution, you know, there's nothing that New Wave can really do there. One thing that I liked about this Lord take than the last one when they lost 2 members, best player stayed close to the Lord, right? Hold on, Blaze Duet comes in. Al's Fanboy gets away with a sliver, and Tamal takes out Sirius in the back line.
What a read by Tamal as soon as Sirius went in with that blazing duet, teleported in there. Tamal went to find his clone to try to sit there and wait, and as soon as Sirius teleported back, got bamboozled with a thunderclap.
Yeah, that would have been a great play. If Sirius was able to land that, I think they would have been able to take just a little bit more out of this, but they're still captivating on private.
Yeah, we do see a wild card coming in there. Fanboy is the first one to go down right now as Nikto is on the chase for best player, who is just cabling his way to safety. But we do see Masha up on the back end here. I'm not sure if they know where the positioning is for it, but Big Papa and Nikto kind of going at it here. And we do see best player coming in. I'm not sure this is the fight you want. And we were talking about this, and look at how Nikto is able to get out of the damage there. Best player gets taken down. And this is what we were talking about with that counter, is Big Papa trying to get away, and he is not going to be able to get to safety, as up at the top, Masha by herself is chasing down the rest of these players. Is he going to be able to get away? Look at that healing being done already, but it is not going to be enough as Sirius able to pick up that kill, and we are 1 for 2 in favor of New Wave right now for a game that is doesn't even appear, but is a 3K gold lead in favor of Team Sexy.
Yeah, I mean, and now as Nikto is starting to, like, he's gotten to a point where he can withstand best player a little bit and not just get shredded down from him cabling in. He's also picked up some tanky items. He has some sustainability with the Bloodlust Axe. I mean, he can now actually buy himself enough time to stop best player, like we all were, you know, calculating could happen. So he had a bit of a rough start, but New Wave has bought enough time. And now it's getting harder and harder for best player to find targets, right? He can't just jump into Ale Fanboy's face. He can't just jump onto Nikto. He can't really solo it anymore. He needs to kind of have some of his team there, maybe even let the rest of his team start the fight and then come in after some of the utilities of New Wave have been used. Kamal may get picked off here.
Yeah, wild charge does stun him up, and then we do see the damage coming onto him, but a lot of damage there as Fanboy is waiting inside the bush, and the rest of Team Sexy is going to wisely disengage. Sirius is playing a dangerous game here, being so close, and Dogtar is on the run from Big Papa as he is closing the distance, able to leap in there, but Dogtar might not be able to make it out of here. Oh, look at that sliver of health there. Big Papa is going to have to disengage, or he's going to run the risk of putting himself in harm's way. Meanwhile, over here at the bottom, we do see the Lord being picked up by Team Sexy. They have it at half health, and unfortunately, New Wave is not in a position to counter this.
Yeah, I mean, even with Big Papa on the top, right, they really can't come in. Shinra may go down, able to at least stall them, but he does pay the price. Immortality comes up. Is he going to be able to get away from this?
No, he's not. He did try to land that conceal play, and we saw that Lilia was trying to provide some backup with the slows from those bombs, but it wasn't enough to save him.
There's a little bit of a miscommunication there. He just dived in hard. No teammates followed. And we've been seeing these mistakes every time the Lord happens, and Team Sexy just has to, you know, they haven't had a really good Lord push, and now I don't know with their tank being missing if they can get another good Lord push. T-Rex.
I mean, there could be the possibility. I mean, Shinra wanted to open up that space. He wanted to guarantee that Lord, and there is that worry, right? Like, Big Papa's up in the top lane. They are technically 4v4 at the Lord pit, so Shinra wanted to guarantee it. Was it a bit of a bad play? We will see as this Lord keeps on coming in, and Ale's Fanboy is starting to chip away at it.
Yeah, we do see the Lord. He is going to be able to get that first charge, which is going to drop this tower to about 1/3 health. And we do see the damage coming onto it. We do, and yeah, the tower is going to go down. That is the first inhibitor coming down. Lord is at the core, but it is going to get taken down short work by the rest of Team Sexy, who is now moving on to the buffs, trying to clean up the jungle of New Wave. They move down to the bottom. Conceal play is out. Shinra does get caught out, and we do see the umbrella out. Tamal takes a heap of damage. Not sure if Team Sexy is trying to continue with this fight. We do see Sirius take a good amount of stacks, but they are going to go ahead and disengage. They got what they came for, and they are safely just going to go ahead and reorientate themselves on this map.
Team Sexy playing it smart. I think at this point you've broken in. Tamal maybe getting caught off here. Possible, but a nice trap from Nikto, forcing best player out of there. But I think they can just freeze these lanes. It's not too late to where they have a 4K gold lead right now. They can freeze the lanes, starve them out, and by the next Lord, they'll still have an advantage in items, right? We haven't gotten to that 62 mark where it doesn't matter anymore. If they can just kind of hold out for another 45 seconds, they can keep their advantage over New Wave, possibly take this Lord and finish the game with the next push. If New Wave can maybe force themselves into this pit, make a nice play here, they could also turn this game around. We're creeping very late in, 20 minutes in. Any mistake could change the game right now.
Yeah, we are seeing a lot of focus going on to this Masha doing the job. We just see best player tabling in onto Doctor. I'm not sure he's going to be able to come into here. He does put on the damage and is able to pick up the kill and is now running back to safety. And that is 14 seconds before the Lord is about to spawn. So they have a good 30-second window of a 4v5 possible here. And I'm not sure if New Wave is going to be able to counter this Lord take by Team Sexy.
I don't think they're going to be able to do anything about this. And at this point, you may have to. They do have the ability to shred down this Lord as if it's coming. Dogtour will be back up. Il's fanboy's damage is definitely off the charts. We saw how fast he shredded the last one. But this time, Team Sexy will have their full team, right? They will have all 5 members pushing in with this Lord here.
Yeah, and this is, I think, they can take it home from here, you know? Like, this is what I was saying. Like, they just needed to have a full 5 to go at a Lord. And taking down Dogtour there was a really good approach.
Yeah, I think best case scenario here for New Wave is you hold them to 1 tower, because I'm not sure they're going to be able to protect this entire thing. We do see Tamal, a little dangerous game here, does get popped up with that wild card, gets bursted down, and this is right before the Lord is going to be crashing into mid lane. We do have these lanes starting to sync up. A great job by Team Sexy here as this Lord is pushing into mid. They're shredding it though, down to half health already. Here comes best player diving in, that cutthroat onto Fanboy, who gets taken out, and then it's a huge percentage of their damage, but down goes Fanny, possibly Dogtar gets taken out. This might be going over to Team Sexy as Mamil gets taken out. GG, Team Sexy.
What a series. You know, we all have to apologize, all 3 of us, because
Team Sexy. Hey.
Team Sexy with the take on. We saw game 1 and we honestly believed that there was a possibility that it was going to be a clean sweep against them, but they pulled it back together. They came in and oh my God, Team Sexy takes the win 2-1, putting them back up in the leaderboard, right? And the thing is New Wave is one of the top teams in the leaderboard right now. And by Team Sexy taking a win against them, it is a great opportunity for them to try to get this top 6 in the playoffs. They're like sitting at the 6 or 7 spot right now. So it was definitely going to be rough for them, but they were able to get a win, not against like one of the teams at their level, but against one of the top placing teams. So this puts them in a very good spot and slows New Wave down, opening up this top 6 playoffs leaderboard, right? Opening up the position for other teams even to capitalize into here.
Yeah. And I was throughout the whole side of this, even Team Sexy turning it around, you know, and we can see that it came down to Big Papa not being the roam, I would say, you know, like swapping up that roam spot kind of changed the tide, and it allowed Team Sexy to do what they needed to do.
It really interesting here was I want to talk about the banning phase here. Tamal picked up this Masha early, which kind of told Team Sexy that was going to be their roamer, which kind of opened it up. So it's not going to be Kufra, it's not going to be Franco, it's going to be Tamal. That opened it up for Fanny to be able to get picked up here. And then like what else did New Wave have to counter that with? I mean, I understand trying out this the Martis, but I mean, like I said, you have to be able to hit Fanny, and with how fast that Gosu Best Player is able to cable out back and forth, I mean, it's easier on paper than it is to actually land those. And we did see when Best Player was able to come in with some of those cables, he did get kind of messed up when he ran into Martis when he wasn't expecting it. But man, unfortunately, it just as we started moving into the late game, they just did not have the presence that they wanted, especially with those pickoffs on Martis as well.
Yeah, I mean, Best Player. Honestly, like I'm at it. It feels good to see him really playing the way he played tonight, because I think a lot of people have been wondering when we're going to get to see him play like that, when we're going to get to see him play those assassins that we just haven't really seen him play for 2 seasons. And ever since last NACT, he's been picking them up and he's been doing well with them. And honestly, I feel like getting better with them. Like his Fanny performance compared to the NACT Fanny performance that we saw was just phenomenal. Not only that, but the whole team Sirius. Like we barely talked about Sirius for the past 3 games, but honestly, the man carry, like he got MVP from the game in that last game. And even though he's not like making huge plays everywhere, he is consistent. Like I feel like that's kind of Team Sexy in a nutshell, right? Like none of them are like super flashy. We do occasionally get those flashy plays, but they seem to pull it together when they need to and make it count. And what a better time to pull together than against New Wave, right? Like I think everybody was doubting them. If we had a poll in the chat, I'm sure New Wave would have been like an 80-20, you know, which maybe even more. I don't think anyone was thinking that Team Sexy was going to pull that off, and they do it in such a great fashion with that reverse sweep, which just in game 3 and game 2, I feel like they dominated. Like they were shredding apart New Wave there from the draft to the game, just doing a wonderful job overall.
Yeah, and sadly, it's. I saw New Wave. They had a great plan for it, especially with the Masha pickup. I think she's got one of the highest win rates in NA right now. She's sitting at about like 70% wins when she is picked up. So people who pick her up, she's one of those very specific heroes that you don't use unless you know how. You know, she's got a very specific skill set and a very specific way that she needs to be played that not a lot of people pick up on. And it was a great plan by the side and a great draft by Team Sexy here. You were talking about how Sirius was able to get in with that Claude, and so what we were talking about, how much in awe we can be of Claudes that are played so well, especially as we move into the late game, especially against a Masha who's going to be like honing in on him. And I don't even know how many deaths he took in that, but it couldn't have been that many. It was him, Sirius, waiting for the opportunity to get in there and do enough damage there. So just a great game. And man, I love the pickup by Sexy here and how they were able to kind of adjust the draft to the picks of New Wave.
But, well, now enough about New Wave, because we are going to be jumping right into this next series. Now, this is a team, these are 2 teams that I feel like maybe it's not, but to me, it's like the grudge match game. Like these 2 teams are like 2 teams that have always gone at it and gone head to head. And I don't know what, maybe it's my own made up fantasy story that I've made, but Deuce Knights and the Simpsons, right? 2 West teams, 2 teams that I've always put on the same kind of pedestal. And they do go back and forth. Like Simpsons takes a win against Deuce Knights in 2 NACTs ago. Deuce Knights has taken wins against OSP. Deuce Knights made it to the playoffs by beating the Simpsons in last season. I mean, definitely some rivalry between these 2 teams, and I feel like it never fails to give me a great game. So definitely excited to see this one. And as I said, to anyone just coming in, this is going to be Deuce Knights up against the Simpsons. Private, how do you feel about it?
It's gonna be interesting here. I have said before that I've always when I first came in to casting for the squad league, one of the teams that did stand out to me that was Deuce Knights and what they can put in when they are giving 110%. They are flexible out there, and their flexibility expands outside the box that is the meta as well. We've seen them pull out Mayas, we've seen them pull out triple assassin compositions that are successful, not just pulling out random compositions, but successful compositions that border outside of the meta. Likewise, Simpsons have been a staple of the squad league and veterancy of being able to knowing what it takes to be able to come into these night after night with good comps, good drafting, and good playthrough. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams clash in here tonight, because I feel like not to take anything away from Simpsons, I feel like sometimes it's almost Deuce Knight's game to lose, because while they do have that outside the meta picks and stuff like that, it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it works with them and they can have amazing success with it, and sometimes you're kind of like, oh, probably shouldn't have done that, and the actual game kind of complements that as well. So we're gonna see how well it comes in here between these two.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say the same thing. Private. I was actually going to be like, Deuce Knights does throw that curveball, so it's pretty crazy, you know. T-Rex.
Yeah, I'm so like, I feel like, as you said, Deuce Knights, they have kind of like after last NACT, they have solidified, like, and they've picked mostly meta picks and kind of stuck to it and done a wonderful job at that, right? Like, they've definitely have stepped up a huge thing. And my question is, the Simpsons, with some of their PR issues of the NACT, with some of their internal issues, right? They weren't able to compete in that tournament. Which, have they been keeping up practice, right? Like, have they been competing? Have they been scrimming? From what I know, they have been scrimming a little bit, but taking that slight break in a sense, are they going to be able to keep up with Deuce Knights? Deuce Knights may have the upper hand here just because of that, because they've been playing against so many other teams in a tournament stage. Because when it comes down to it, scrims are not the same, right? Even if you're in a tournament lobby doing 10 bans, it's just not the same. So if I had to pick someone, I got to give it to Deuce Knights tonight. And we are jumping now into the bans here.
I didn't cure the pain.
Yeah, and it's going to be a point on to your point is maybe they're going to be looking at this as an opportunity to make a point. They weren't able to compete in the challenger tournaments. They are still here in the squad league, maybe looking to make a point here with their performance here against Deuce Knights. We do see the typical bans coming out here, the Masha and the Faramis on the side of Deuce Knights, and then of course the Valentina and Julian, followed closely behind by the Natalia ban.
Huh. I was actually, I mean, the Natalia ban normally, as well as it being the first pick team, I feel like they have something up their sleeve. They're gonna maybe pull something out. What do you think it could be, T-Rex?
Now, onto this. The Natalia is not like it's just a very uncommon ban here, right? Like in NA, and I did a video the other day and I was talking about this, like the Natalia, because over in MPL, like you see the Natalia banned a lot. And I just feel like the reason we don't see it here is because we don't have any like crucial Natalia players. We just haven't seen someone climb to the ranks and shine. And maybe Simpsons know something that we don't right now. Maybe someone on the side of Deuce Knights has been practicing it, getting it ready, and it's something that they don't want to have to deal with. Cole World picking up this Kai, though, something we haven't seen tonight, but something I still feel is very viable as a jungler.
Viable as a jungler. I feel like the nerf to his ult, the timing on it threw off a lot of people's timing when it comes to these turtles, because you can't use that heavy spin in the lane right before the turtle comes up, because you're not going to have it back up. So you have to be a little bit more choosy with how you activate it now, which has kind of turned a lot of people away from using Akai. But we're gonna see how well it goes, because he still could be a menace. He still does upset those engages with that heavy spin. He's able to space everybody back off of his team, and then the crucial thing about the Akai is being able to pin people against the wall, which will set up your team with some good sets.
The equilibrium.
which I was made for.
Yeah, we do
We
see
do
that.
see the Beatrix getting picked up, the Eve now getting picked up. Now, the Esmeralda, the Dyroth is open right now, right? So there is opportunity for Simpsons to counter that. There are still some possibilities, but do they go right into that? I like the Eve, I like the Akai. A combo that we've seen several times does work well, but you've given up this Beatrix to Wan. Now, we haven't seen Wan get banned at all tonight. She was such a hot ban for the longest time, and I'm still like, I don't know if she was ever.
Pick a Lolita. They
You
go
think so?
Ling though. Why?
Run deep.
Because
I just don't
he's a
know.
monster with it.
I mean, a
I like
Lolita
the
would
Ling.
have countered the Eve and the Wan.
I like the Ling. So does the Ling.
I'm saying it does, but
Interestingly enough here too, Atlas kind of got by in this pick and draft here. I was expecting to see either a banned or picked up here, but it looks like neither team is really going to be going for it. We do know that we do have the Akai. I'm not really sure if that's kind of a counter for Atlas. I feel like he's one of the B tier counters for an Atlas here. Ling it's interesting. Ling, I feel like I've said it before. The only reason I'm not a huge fan of Ling right now is because he needs some things to be in his favor for him to shine. I feel like the game needs to be going in your team's direction, because Ling I don't feel like he's as useful from behind. He's gonna have trouble trying to make those openings, especially on tankier heroes before he gets his itemization there. So it's gonna be interesting
easy
here.
peasy though.
Yeah, I want to say he's very synonymous for his Ling play. He's made Ling work against counters. I think it was a Barats I saw him once against, and I'm like, I'm not sure how he's going to be able to do this, but his team was able to kind of pull it through. So I mean, this is honestly the Deuce Knights I've been wanting to see for a while, since the beginning of the season, because I don't think Easy Peasy has played on Deuce Knights since until today.
I think this is his debut game, actually. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this is a debut game since last season of the Squad League, and that was the Deuce Knights that I kind of fell in love with. So we're gonna see how well he's able to perform on this Ling against not very characteristic picks that you'd want to pick a Ling into. So we're gonna see how well he does here.
I mean, now my head goes the same way, right? Like Ling needs to dance around this Akai, but what hero doesn't need to dance around the Akai, right? Like there's literally what you're gonna pick the Ballman, you're gonna pick something that just like I feel like I've been pitching for a while, like maybe a marksman jungle against the Akai, right? But like the thing is I feel like Ling is actually one of those people who can dance around the Akai well. Right now, what the Simpsons need to do to deal with this, and I feel like anytime you have this tank jungle going against an assassin jungles, you need to push in. You need to be aggressive, steal that blue buff every freaking chance you get. And now 100%. With this possible Ruby tank, right? And now even the Paquito off lane, like you have the opportunity to be aggressive and push into the enemy jungle, which could be a problem for Easy Peasy here. Now, you pick up the Lunox, who should do well against some of the bulkiness on the side of the Simpsons, but you're also giving up some of that poke ability. You're giving up kind of that wall. What they need now is a solid tank to stop the Simpsons from coming in. They need something, maybe the Kufra, maybe the Grok, someone that can put up a Grok could actually, now that I say it, could be solid, but instead they go for the Diggy, which is also a solid pick, but you're kind of squishy in this early game, right? Like, yes, you get the ability to get out of that, but you don't have anything to really stop them from coming in at this point.
Yeah, the name of the game is going to be aggression and isolation. You want to isolate out some of these people, and you're going to need to use this Diggy ults. You're going to be having it defensively against this Akai, but you don't have a front line on the side of Deuce Knights. So there's going to need to be aggression. We don't want to have these team fights in the late game, because I don't feel like Deuce Knights is going to be shining in that type of in those types of scenarios.
I mean, they do have the Beatrix, right? Like they have the Lunox, so they do have some late game possibilities. It's honestly like I feel like a lot of this is going to just come down to like I like both compositions. I feel like both teams have some bases covered early game, aggression. It's going to really come down to some mechanics here as we jump into the first game of the series, second series of the night. This is Simpsons versus Deuce Knights Private.
Yeah, and we right now, both teams kind of taking their time here. Definitely wondering, especially as these objectives start coming into focus, how this is going to start playing. I do like the sets on the side of the Simpsons here, the potential that we have with these Numenon blasts, with these real world manipulations. But how will Cold World play into those on the Akai? Because he kind of works against those. He doesn't organize them. Sakura is going to have to disengage there a little bit, as 3 members of the Simpsons are kind of bashing her back in this mid lane.
I do want to point out that the Diggy Bia combo is massive. You know, like taking a look at them, I've seen Diggies and Bia combos just, I mean, once you get a Diggy reset, like you're gonna be coming right into a shotgun, you know? Like, you know, you got to pull back.
You definitely got to watch out for that now. But I mean, the Lolita is also a solid combo, right? Like the Lolita, you get that early game stun. So once again, I feel like both teams, they need to watch out for the other team, and it's going to come down to some of these small, minute differences.
Might have a little bit of a problem as we do see Mingyu. Oh, nope. Mingyu, signs of life, fell asleep a little bit in there in the base there. We do have a little bit of engagement up at top.
Yeah, Cold World is coming to Zagreus. Zagreus, we'll get that one down. We got it down now, but a nice stun now on to say 10, and in comes Easy Peasy. And that's pulled back onto Damien. Damien taking a little bit of damage here. Is Easy Peasy going to be able to finish? Decides not to use the Finch post, does not go for it. Walks right into man tap, and Sakamoto does go down to the world manipulation. Easy Peasy trying to gain a little bit of ground onto this turtle, but Cold World does not let that happen and takes the first turtle of the game, along with the Simpsons taking first blood.
A beautiful bait by Mingyu to lure in Sakura, flicker away or dash away, and is able to throw down that real world manipulation, as Sakura did not have anything left to try to get out of it and did get cleaned up there. Good first kill by the side of Simpsons.
Yeah, no, they were cleaning it up pretty well there, you know. And again, I mean, the real world manipulation on the early game is just so clutch. And you know, like what we're seeing again that I want to talk about is just the Diggy is constantly babysitting the gold lane, the Bia just keeping it there, and you might need that reset when you can. Private.
Yeah, we do see it's a lot of aggression here as we see Ling, and we see that Easy Peasy is just not being thwarted away from this orange buff. Here comes Cold World though.
Oh, Easy Peasy goes down. The road manipulation cops. Here comes the Numenon blast. With that reverse time, able to save, say 10 out of that one. But Easy Peasy trying to be aggressive, but just not able to succeed with it.
Yeah, and unfortunately he does, it is kind of like being kind of shot back at him. We do see Satan a little bit of trouble here.
Cold World with the heavy spin, and you do not have the reverse time. Satan may go down, able to get away, but Mingyu chases him down, takes that pick. A nice play from the Simpsons, being very aggressive. You know, we were worried about them maybe being rusty, but they are shining right now.
Yeah, definitely not showing any signs of rust here. They are focused, and they are taking advantage of this early game, I want to say, squishiness of this Diggy by Satan here. They are pushing in, even cutting lane. This is going to give them a little bit of an opening, as it looks like they are coming into mid lane.
Yeah, they're trying something with Sakamoto, but when you mentioned squishiness, and that's exactly what it is. I was worried about this. Damien coming in, the reverse time forced to go just to escape there, and now this blue buff is going to go over to the side of Cold World. Watch Darwin though in this push, does have the shotgun out, tries to land. Bear's passion comes out, but the rest of the team is there. Numenon blast with the flicker and the stun. Down goes Darwin. Cold World using that heavy spin just to try to get out of there safely. Going to move on to this turtle, and there is nothing Deuce Knights can do.
Someone needs to stop this Eve. Private.
Yeah, it's sadly right now, it feels like the organization, the synergy by Simpsons is just overpowering. Oh, we do see a little bit of a setup here up at top. Yang might be in trouble.
Oh, Easy Peasy with the Tempest Blaze does come down, but 3 members are here, and they're able to take out man tap there. A nice play from Deuce Knights, finally putting a kill on the board.
Yeah, and we saw that's the organization. Yeah. Go ahead, G.
Oh yeah, no, that allows them to trade, and now the gold tower off the top. You know, like they're able to do a lot, and then change the tide a little bit because they are behind. Private.
Yeah, they're behind right now, and this is something different from what we were seeing from New Wave. Is even while they were getting kills on them, they were still able. Oh, we do see a Numenon Blast coming out.
Oh, but the reverse time able to get him out of that, but it's not enough. Cold World coming in with the heavy spin. Sakamoto able to get out with just a sliver of health. You can't even see the health bar. Easy peasy sitting up on this Finch post right now. Zagreus maybe trying to make a play. Easy peasy along with it, chasing down Cold World. Cold World's going to be able to walk away, but now Damien caught in the grasp of all three members. Reverse time is not there to help out, but Tempest of Blaze comes down, and Satan picks up the kill. Mantap into the back line, takes out Satan though. Now Mantap chases away Esmeralda. Sakamoto in the mid lane trying to deal with Cold World and Mingu as we speak, as Darwin picks off into this gold lane, but the Simpsons want to cover ground somewhere else. Can they get the kill? They do. Promise takes out Sakamoto, and next will be Easy Peasy, and then the tower falls along with them. They keep up the aggression. Satan will go down, and we don't even need the crossbow of Tang. Promise is on fire.
Yeah, and this is the problem that you run into with this Diggy if you are not ahead, because he's using that time journey kind of defensively for himself, not during these team plays, not during the aggression. A little bit of aggression up at the top.
Oh, Zagreus goes down. Definitely a rough pick, but back to what you were saying, Private.
Yeah, it's just that while the time journey, we do see a reverse time here as Mantap is going to go ahead and disengage, but they're not able to capitalize on it. And maybe as we move into the later game, we'll have a little bit more success with this time journey. But right now, they're having a lot of trouble using it in these team fight scenarios, as we do see another turtle going over to the side of the Simpsons.
Yeah, the side of the Simpsons are just not allowing them to breathe. Like, they just every second that they attempt to try to get something, the Simpsons just there to counter that get, you know. Like, it's tough, and this cop is still very, very viable.
Yeah, very, very viable at that. And we may see something happen down here in the mid lane. Simpsons keeping it very, very aggressive. Right now, Easy Peasy, all alone in between several members. They're trying to go for his blue buff. He's forced to come out of that bush, but there's just too much pressure onto his blue buff, and there's nothing that they can do right now. Deuce Knight's being pushed into a rough corner. Promise pushing away in this tower. Mantap chasing down Easy Peasy. Easy Peasy all alone on this wall. He's going to be able to escape that one, but the rest of the Simpsons are going to keep up pressure elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, I mean, they are really shutting down the cohesiveness of Deuce Knights. Oh, but we do see a falling Star Moon.
Oh, Zagreus is deleted. Damien does not want to stop Promise coming in, dancing along, keeping Satan at bay, and they're going to take another tower away from the Simpsons private. I mean, away from Deuce Knight's private.
Yeah, they're right now. They're not able to get a cohesive engagement. We saw what happens when they do. They were able to pick off at the top, but right now, Deuce Knight's having trouble with those engagements. Satan taking a lot of damage here, though.
Oh, Mantap flashes in, but he does get that reverse time. But this is going to be another tower. Mingu with a beautiful real-world manipulation, able to keep them all at bay. You know, normally you put it under the tower you're trying to take, but he puts it under the inhibitor at a wonderful angle, keeping them all inside of the base.
A+ for effort from Satan on that Dicky trying to back and forth in that real world manipulation, but at the end of the day it was not enough. He does get taken out again, and right now it does seem like this is a very solid control and lead from the Simpsons. They were able to shut down these engagements. We do see Easy Peasy doing what he needs to here at the bottom, the split push as this Lord goes over to the side of Simpsons, and I mean, they can, I feel like they're still in it. The late game still, I feel like, is an advantage for them, but they are about 7K gold behind now.
Yeah, Easy Peasy dies for that tower. He dies, not dives, dies for that tower. Here comes the Numenon Blast. Satan does use that reverse time once again, kind of defensively. Cold World with the heavy spin on Darwin. Does have the shotgun out, but it's just not enough damage. Darwin may go down here, but now they switch gears. Satan is taken off. Crossbow of Tang finishes the rest. Zagreus, Easy Peasy, and Satan are off the map with the Lord crashing towards the side of Deuce Knight. Simpsons may just want to try to finish this here. 10 minutes into the game. The Lord Lord is here. We do see the ultimate come out from Darwin. Nibir's passion does chip that Lord down to about half health. Tempest Blades onto the map, but Cold World is ready. Easy peasy forced away on the opposite side of the map, away from where you need to be to defend your own base as the Lord is enclosing. We are seeing Mantap try to focus on Easy Peasy, and he gets the mega kill off cam. Luckily, this buys a little bit of space for Darwin to work onto that Lord, but Simpsons aren't done yet. They said, no, we're coming for the second inhibitor. Heavy spin, comboed in with that Numenon blast, and the time reverse is able to help buy a little bit of time. And members of Simpsons are now going down. We are seeing Sakamoto put out a little bit of damage. Zagreus with the falling Star Moon onto Mingu, but now he's all alone, and Mantap is here with the unstoppable kill, able to take the pick. World Manipulation does come out. Satan will go down next with another legendary kill, and the crossbow Tang is here to finish the deal. Sakamoto survives with just a sliver of health. Easy Peasy is the last one on the map along with Sakamoto. It is a 2 up against 3, but the Simpsons do not want to let up. Brilliance coming out, and Easy Peasy gets a shutdown on a promise into the back. Easy Peasy keeps on pushing, but at this point, he just wants to free up some space, free up a little bit of room, and Deuce Knights survive again.
Yeah, maybe overstaying their welcome a bit was the Simpsons there. They did get their towers, but taking that death probably not something you want to do here, because it does open it up a little bit for the side of Deuce Knights, G.
Look at that. They're like, I'm getting that tower. You know, just holding it out there. What we're really seeing here is just the overall, like, we don't have enough CC on the side of Deuce Knights, you know, like they just don't have the control, even though the Diggy has a decent amount. It's just the Diggy has too many single targets that he has to go for, trying to dive for the real world manipulation, the heavy spin, and then even the Numeon blast. Like, what do you use the reverse time on? Private.
Well, unfortunately, I feel like the right now he's ulting because he's getting caught, and it's not because his team is in a position to engage, and that's what the difference is right here for the Diggy, and that's what happens when you get a Diggy on the back foot. You're not able to really capitalize. Oh, easy peasy, caught in midair.
Why is he walking like, bro? You gotta know what you're up against, man. You gotta know there's a heavy spin in there. He just dived into a heavy spin, like, I got this. Hold my beer, and just completely annihilated there.
Not even on the wall. As he was diving for another wall in the middle of the air, got caught out and slammed to the ground. It was able to get away though to safety, thankfully.
There we are. Now this could be bad. Mantap does come in, trying to defend off. Falling Star Moon does come down for Zagreus. The Nibir's passion helps melt down that Lord, and that is another Lord down. And I don't know if Simpsons are going to be able to take this. They do have a wave coming in from the top here. Mingu does have that real manipulation. It does finally come out along with the heavy spin, but the reverse time helps buy a little bit of time. Doing on blast comes down, but Easy Peasy is shredding through. Mantap able to take him off the map, but the base goes down, and Simpsons take game 1.
And we saw shades of it there. Unfortunately, the last fight, you saw the real world manipulation come out. You saw the time journey come out, and then the entire team engaged onto that Eve. That's what you were supposed to be doing from the beginning of the game. Unfortunately, they pulled it out at the end, and the tower was already on its last leg, and it wasn't enough to stop this amazing push by Team Sexy here. And what a dominating game for them. Dare I say, Mingu, a deserved MVP there. But on the other side, I want to say a very interesting clash between Mantap and how he was able to latch on to Easy Peasy with this Dairoth.
Yeah, definitely a wonderful game. I mean, Simpsons just came in, showed off. You know, you said in the beginning that Simpsons might have something to prove, show that they are still a team that needs to be on the map, and they have showed it with a dominance performance in game 1. Now, we were saying how Ling, you know, I was standing up for Ling, but he definitely had a lot of trouble against that Akai, right? Now, I could argue that maybe it has to do with some of the rest of the formation, and yes, the Diggy does do wonders against the Akai, but when you pick the way you did, pick some of the picks you did, you were just completely open for the Simpsons to completely invade and stay aggressive from the beginning to the end there.
Yeah, well, we were talking about it too, and I feel like one of the rules of thumb for picking a support character rather than a tank character for that roaming position is if you're going to pick a support character, there needs to be some offensive, there needs to be some defense there. Usually it's in the form of a tanky jungler with a tanky XP laner, but we didn't really have that, and we had nobody really to soak up damage at that early game. Esmeralda was still trying to come in the game, and she's not really a hardcore tank, especially early, and if you get her pressed, she's not going to be able to pick up, and she's not going to be able to catch up there as well. So I mean, maybe a little bit of a drafting problem for them when you pick up that Diggy and you had nothing really to protect him.
Yeah, and I feel like this time around that they definitely can turn the tide, hopefully, you know. On the side of Deuce Knights, you were saying the Ling from the very beginning was a little rough. I thought it was not gonna be, so I mean, that was a good call on your behalf. You know, I was hoping the Ling was gonna succeed here. Do they though attempt to try to go for the Julian instead this time around, because it's still not banned yet? I don't know, Private, what do you think?
It's interesting. We do see that the Beatrix is going to be taken off there. I'm actually kind of sad this Faramis has been getting banned as often as it has, because I enjoy, not only do I enjoy the new characters coming in, the new meta kind of shifting over, but I enjoy seeing the counters to it and see what these teams have. But I mean, the almighty counter is the ban, and we see these teams taking advantage of it right now. Yeah.
I want to see some more Faramis too, right? But it seems like, I mean, he's a problem. I was watching a game the other day, Malaysia, and the Valentine and the Faramis both got left open, and the team played it so well, right? Like, they let you get the Faramis, but we get the Valentina. So then I was like, it completely just nullifies the Faramis because you're getting to steal the Cult Altar whenever you want, right? So like, it was a crazy game, right? And those are the things we love to see, but right now we're not going to get to see those things. The Akai, the Valentina, the Faramis, we're definitely seeing some target bans now. The Beatrix even getting talked out, and there's the Julian you were talking about. Aiko, easy peasy, is going to be running this as the jungler, and it's a solid trade, right? Like, you leave the Julian open, but you don't leave much for the side of the Simpsons. Yes, the Thamus, yes, a few other things are on the table, but when it comes to hot bans, hot prios, the Julian was the only one left open.
Yeah. Ooh, what?
Your team is picking.
Yep,
Okay.
and this was actually banned last time by Simpsons last game, so definitely have something in mind here. Definitely feel like Natalia is a force to be reckoned with, and they're going to go ahead and pick that up, and it's going to be interesting. What I want to see is some type of answer, some type of setup, some type of organization from the side of Deuce Knights, whether it's in the form of like a roam that can set or something that can kind of sustain them through this early game. Because I mean, from last game, it felt like from beginning to end they were on their back foot. They did find a couple of lucky picks, but they were not able to find that synergy and those openings that we've seen from them. And we do and this I like this a nice Grok pick. He's gonna be able to get some decent sets with that wild charge as well. But oh man, Selena, we just saw how bad, or not bad, how lethal well played Selena can be. So if they do pick this up, it's going to be very interesting to see how Deuce Knights can cope with this,
especially paired up with a Natalia, right? Like, that is just some some ish. Now we didn't. They decided to go for the 1-1 instead, which is a solid pick, right? Before they start like really hammering into your gold laners in the second ban phase, because like the Clint and the Beatrix are already gone. You already know Easy Peasy's like, all right, we're just gonna slang it. So I think that is a good pickup for them, right? Because they can always pick another mage, right? They can always pick a little something else, but you don't want to let that gold lane pool get too limited in this second ban phase. Now, the side of Simpsons do still need a tank, right? They need a little something to open up space and give space for this 1-1, give space for this Natalia. Now, the real question on my mind is Cold World, Natalia, jungle. Now, I think this now, like in my mind, I'm thinking this could actually work against the Julian, right? Like this could be something to get up and just hone down on Julian, right? Just stay on him because he's a slippery guy, right? Like he's someone that a lot of people have trouble getting to, but with an Natalia, you can get there without him ever even really knowing it, right?
Yeah, it's going to come down to the reactions and the placement in there, and I do like to say, yeah, I mean, are we just going to go with all mage bans for the second bat? Both teams need mages. I think they're just going to go ahead, play Russian roulette here, and they're just going to ban every single mage. They're going to try to sort through what's left after this ban phase comes out. As we do see the Yves and the Sicilian, I'm expecting I don't know, a Farza ban, or no, we still have Lilia and Kagura up there.
We still have
as well as Linux. Yeah,
we still have an
I think
Atlas.
we see a Farza and a Kagura played. That might be the options here.
Your team is banned.
We are seeing the Uranus banned out though, and you mentioned the Atlas, which if that doesn't get banned out, definitely something that will most likely be up for grabs from the Simpsons because they are gonna have first pick after the second ban phase.
That's what I was saying. I mean, you're looking at a Wanwan and you're looking at an Natalia, both people that can burst, you know, crazy paired with an Atlas. So if Deuce Knights doesn't ban it here, it could smell for a lot of trouble here. Let's see if they actually go with my prediction though. Private.
Yeah, we still do have that Kagura up right now. I'm not sure what else we can kind of throw in there. Linux is still I never believe it when I see it. I saw that we were dancing. Definitely not going to be a Herod. And we do lock in that Farja. Interestingly enough, not the most amount of CC. I think this is to set up for a Farza. So I think we're going to be seeing something in that from the side of Simpsons here. There's definitely going to have a set, an initiating roamer is what we're going to be seeing from Simpsons here to help this Farja set up. And then we do see this Linux picked out to kind of deal with these. Yeah, Atlas Franco is another good one, or just
no way.
Yeah, just
no.
Screw me at what I was saying.
What?
Okay.
Who's the Rome?
It's going to be Natalia. They're going to use Natalia as a roamer. Just not sure.
We're switching it up. There it is. There's the fix.
Oh,
no.
What?
Yeah, there
Dude,
it is. Thamu's jungle. Thamu's jungle. Natalia
trolls.
Rome. I was really vibing with the Natalia jungle, even though we never see it.
Same.
I was vibing with it. Then the Atlas to just, like you mentioned, pair everything up with the Farza, but that's not happening, right? That's not what we're gonna see. This is what we're seeing. Thamus can be a solid jungle, like a very solid jungle. I think he's like from EXP lane to jungle. I think he's one of the hottest picks in the meta right now. My personal beliefs, right? We have some nice rotations from Farza, heavy early game aggression from the Simpsons here in game 2. And if you're just coming into the chat, this is game 2, second series of the night. Simpsons are up 1 game up against Deuce Knights. Definitely excited for this one, Private. How do you think this is gonna go?
Unfortunately, Satan, I know what he was trying to do. Satan, I just get it. I get it now. Ugh, that's a guy.
Satan.
Of all people, I should have gotten that number in the name, but he was trying to offset the mid lane minions there to make them to stall them coming forward, but misjudged that wall on that Grok, and the minions came out anyway. So very interesting beginning for the side of this Deuce Knights here.
Yeah, and what I want to see here is to see how well this Natalia is played. You know, like I personally thought again it was going to be the jungle, but it's not. So we're gonna have to see the Lunox, you know, the Clint, and even the Julian. You're gonna have to dodge that pressure.
Ooh, yeah, Darwin is very aware of this Natalia. Does dash back to safety in this team. And then we do have a little bit of a fight coming down here at the bottom. Easy peasy.
Yeah, Cold World is being very aggressive on the easy peasy here. Cold World gets caught up in that wall, knocked up with the chains, and deleted. Easy peasy picks up first blood of the game, but they keep on going. Stay 10 now, doing a little bit of damage. Able to take Damian and Promise down a little bit, but he needs to be careful. He is bulky. He can withstand it, but you still got to be careful. But that is first blood for the side of Deuce Knights.
Yeah, and a good pickup by them, and we saw this last game as well. It's just if they can maintain this pressure that is coming from, you see Mantap gets popped up there.
Oh, deleted.
That was smooth.
Nothing to say.
He said nothing to say. See you later.
Bye.
No, I mean, what we're seeing it in this Julian pick was what I was suspecting from the very beginning, right? Like, it's nasty right now. The damage is insane, and then just easy peasy's doing so good at it. Private.
Yeah, and they're really kind of forcing their will right now, especially with this early game, and Damas in a little bit of trouble there too, as we do see the feathered airstrike down.
Darwin goes down, but almost gets the pick on Damien there, but a nice force play in that gold lane, and they give up that turtle, right? They give that up and they go for the gold lane, which we see a lot of teams doing, and they are a bit behind in gold, but not as much as you would think with having 3 kills against them.
Yeah, and I mean, they are kind of they're playing kind of catch up right now. It is 3-1 right now. The gold slightly starting to lead into the side of Deuce Knights. This is a good position for them if they can kind of keep up this pressure. But we do see Mantap is really kind of enforcing his will at top, not really respecting the boundaries of this jungle. And a little bit of engagement here happening.
Yeah, Mantap does get brought low, but the feathered airstrike does come down, forcing Sakuramoto out of the way, but say 10 uses that wall, interrupt Mingu here. Easy peasy with the chains, and Mingu does not touch the ground before she dies. Knocked up from the chains, knocked up from the wild charge, and taken out in the sky. A wonderful mark from the side of Deuce Knights. They want to keep going. Easy peasy with another chains, and another man knocked up. Cold World goes down. Mantap, do not do this. Don't force it, but he wants to go in, trying to get away now. Easy peasy under the tower with another knock up. Next, airborne onto Damien. Mingu finally wings by wingsing it into the mid lane, trying to put up a little bit of a defense, but Deuce Knights have cracked the egg. They've moved in, and they're now invading the jungle.
Yeah,
Lots of pressure. Lots of pressure going down. What? What do they have enough sustain to get out of this? It's no biggie, right? Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, what I'm seeing from the side of Deuce Knights here is the turnaround is that the jungle is just so quick now. The Julian is such a clutch pick, and you would suspect with a Natalia roam that they would have a little bit more of an early game for the side of the Simpsons, but Deuce Knights is doing really good.
Yeah, feathered airstrike is coming down onto this turtle right now. Easy peasy, getting very low. Finally, they do get the pick. Mingu actually capitalizes and take it. Lord's still up. Cold World takes it. Cold World now coming forward, but he's getting deleted by Darwin. Say 10 ends up taking that kill, but the crossbow 10 goes off, and Darwin may go down. Promise does not want to stop here. He wants to keep on pushing, but he just can't take it. Next, Sakuramoto on the chopping block as Darwin finally deleted, but Zagreus is here and is picking off people in the back line. Promise also getting a kill for herself, but now it is a 3v1. Zagreus trying to do something, not able to get it, and is taken out from Mingu. Overall in the map, I think it comes out to a 2-for-3 trade, but the Simpsons are slowly coming back.
Yeah, unfortunately, with that, Natalia, Damien were able to kind of get in, get some damage, and then run all the way around during this turtle fight, kind of offset the team composition, forced the Clint away from the fight, had to go back to the tower, and then that's where Natalia was able to pick him off. Just a great play. We were just talking about like where this Natalia is able to find the openings, and even during these team fights, which is actually kind of news to me. Natalia usually finds her openings during the laning phase and in the lanes, but she's even able to find it during these team fights, these objective takes here, which really says a lot for the skill level from which Damien can play it.
Yeah, it definitely says a lot there. Now, one thing I got to point out is the Simpsons, this is a second game, right, where now they've taken this gold lead. We're at 6 minutes, and Cold World not doing, I mean, he's 0-4, but the rest of the team, he is doing very well. But we are seeing the side of Deuce Knights come in very aggressively. The flicker with that feathered airstrike able to reposition Mingu and help make this retaliation possible. Cool World now coming in, but he's just got too many deaths, not able to keep the gold up, and he will go down to Sakuramoto. Mantap now is rotated from the top, able to pick up a kill on Sakuramoto. Now we are seeing Deuce Knights trying to hone down onto Mantap here. Promise also flickering around, keeps the distance, but we are going to see Zagreus able to back off. Mantap coming back to the mid here. They might want to try to take this tower. Promise, Mingu, Mantap coming up to the side. Damien also into the tower, able to get the kill on to say 10 there. A nice combination from 4 members of the Simpsons there, getting another pick.
There's just amazing synergy by this. Oh god, and they're gonna have another engagement up at top.
Ooh, but Zangris does get that tower, able to keep the distance. Is he gonna get away from this? The Venator strike comes down, and Zagreus is taken out.
Yeah, just an amazing. Yeah, and they didn't even really see them the entire time. So great playthrough there by Mingu here as they pick up another turtle here. And Matt, just right now, oh, Wild Charge does miss wide.
Yeah, does miss wide, and I don't think we're going to see anything too major. Both of them really want these mid towers. They want to crack open the base a little bit. Finally, in the top lane, we are seeing the Simpsons the minions take a tower. So Simpsons have taken both off lanes. All they need left is one in the mid.
Didn't want to give Simpsons the credit for those minions. Want to give them their due respect.
It's all the Simpsons, man. Minions, their lives matter too.
Oh my.
Just look at the split right now. Look at how well they're kind of positioned for the flank here. As another engagement around mid.
And Promise is chipping away at this bottom, but we do see Cold World get picked off. Chains do get the pop up onto Mantap here. Mantap getting off low. Wild Charge comes in to stun him up, and easy peasy gets that kill, putting him at 3-1. The rest of the Simpsons holding out in this bush. Promise just wants to hit these weak points. You can see the way he kind of he's always judging, do I force the engage here? Do I want to move in and test my limits? Luckily, Promise did spend some time pushing away at that bottom tower, though, opening up more map for the Simpsons G.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm really seeing here is that from the side of the Simpsons, it just seems like they might be going for this mid to late game here with the Wan. They're just absolutely feeding Promise. 2-0-3, keep them alive, and then when the crossbow and tank goes off, it's just gonna smell devastation for the Deuce Knights here.
It's just amazing how well they're able to kind of to collapse around this team, especially because they're 0-6 right now. Another engaged Wild Charge lands.
But the better airstrike comes out, tries to save it, but easy peasy, able to get that kill. Damien maybe next, but they are able to disengage Simpsons, knowing that once we lose Promise, once we lose someone, we don't want to try to keep on forcing the fight.
And they didn't want to do that with the Lord coming up in 6 seconds, and I feel like Deuce Knights, I feel like as a caster, we speak things into existence, and I think I might have cursed Promise there.
The caster curse is something that is real. Lord now being chipped away. I hear Darwin does begin this battle. OSP, Zagreus on the tri-bush. Mantap also trying to keep him at bay, but easy peasy takes that Lord quite quickly. Damien now on the run, tried to get in the back line, but wasn't able to. Sakamoto picks up that kill, taking out Damien, and the Lord goes into the hands of Deuce Knights.
Ooh, I was a little worried for Darwin there as I saw Damien on that Natalia sneaking up around the back while they were taking it. That's why I was saying, the Clint is just always in danger. As soon as he shows himself, starts dealing damage, you have to know that Natalia is coming. And Deuce Knight's doing a great job of protecting, making sure that somebody was around him. That time it was Zagreus. Oh, a little bit of engagement here, but not enough as this Lord is pushing in to the mid lane.
And Lord is coming now, breaking in onto the second tier tower. Zagreus rotating down. Seems like Simpsons are a little split up right now. They're not going to be able to defend this. Promise opted to go protect the top lane, but Lord is still here. Feathered Airstrike does come down as the side of the Deuce Knights decides to opt back. They've taken a tower, they've taken a bit of space. They don't want to push too hard here. Keep our eyes on say 10 though, over in the red buff. We are seeing Zagreus take a bit of damage, but also back off. Say 10 keeping vision for the team.
It's been an amazing job right now that Simpsons is still able to hold on to this, especially because, like I said, I was going to say before, Cold World is not having the greatest game right now. He's 0-6 right now, but the rest of the team still doing a great job of kind of closing the gap around and still being able to use this to kind of enforce their will throughout this game, especially by game. Oh, as I say it.
Able to get away though, but that is, Deuce Knights have had some beautiful bush work. Beautiful bush work. Just playing super, you never, either Sakamoto pops out and makes a play, either easy peasy pops out and makes a play. Just doing incredible with their ambushes right now. I'm not gonna break. I'm gonna keep to my seriousness. You guys will not break me tonight.
Well, we do see both teams kind of split off here. Right now, I do favor the side of Deuce Knights. They are basically, they've been able to answer this Natalia coming in here for right now. They are like Sakuramoto, like definitely kind of baiting it out, waiting for this Natalia, and does put on already down to about half health just for kind of going around the wrong bush there.
Yeah, Damien trying to come in. Wall comes out though. Sakamoto wants more, but the Vet Airstrike helps get that stun onto both Say 10 and Sakura Promise. Tries to push in, knows he can't make the play, so he backs off. But well, this has happened. Darwin in the top takes away a tower. Now, Darwin had a bit of a rough start, but now that we're into, mid closing in on the late game, Darwin is now getting there, right?
Yeah, and right now Sakuramoto is having a great game, really able to kind of chunk down, and I think that's probably the biggest story here against Cold World and why he's been taking these L's right now in these deaths. A little bit of engagement here down at Lord, but not much that they could do to contest. Yeah, I was just like, aw.
Their strike came in a little too late there, They didn't get the correct call, but it's all right. I mean, they just need to defend, and with the Farsa, with the Wadwan, I mean, they have the ability to defend a base push here. Like they have that defense. I think the side of Simpsons, they're just trying to wait to get in there. What in the world? The Lord is taking a rest.
That was a good play, right? And even it buys a bit more time for that bottom lane. Promise, taking a bit of damage from that Lord. Simpsons on the defense. They do use this feathered airstrike to come down, and Sakamoto does go down with the flicker on that feathered airstrike. Say 10 now on the top, now on the bottom, running away. Darwin also on the retreat, and it does seem like Deuce Knights are a little split up here. Promise keeping it aggressive, trying to make a play, but can't quite make it. Lord still up though. The inhibitor has finally been broken. Main tap in Mingyu will make work of that. Look at Darwin here. Does hear that recall, decides not to go in. If only he went in, but the fear of Say 10 and the rest of the team is there. He doesn't want to just check that bush, but if he went in, that would have been the play right there.
Yeah, but they've been doing such a great job of fending off Damien, who was having such a great early game. They caught on so quickly, did Deuce Knights, and now we're seeing kind of the effects of it. A little bit of engagement here. Promise in trouble.
Stun on to Promise. We do see Zagreus trying to come in, but he's struck down by Cold World. Cold World does pay the price, but I feel like that's a good trade, a good pick-off, as Cold World hasn't been doing anything too much. Man tap with the Fallen Star Moon. Stun comes in from Mingyu on to Say 10, and let's keep our eyes on Damien here because he is hunting. He is waiting for the moment, and Simpsons have the play potential, right? Like, they have the playmaking potential with their setup. The thing is, so right now it's Deuce Knights. Just don't let them make the play, right? Like, don't let the big stun come in from the feathered airstrike. Don't let Darwin into our back line, because the moment we let that happen, we lose. And as long as Deuce Knights can hold together, easy peasy, buys that one entrenching on. Able to get out of there, but Promise finally gets that crossbow. Tang isn't able to succeed, and a wild charge comes in, and Darwin gets the pick. Promise goes down.
Dude, whether it comes to that winter truncheon by easy peasy, and then they latched onto Sakuramoto, who brillianced out of that crossbow of Tang, which got followed up by the wild charge by Satan there on that Grok. Beautiful play on the side of Deuce Knights there.
Wonderful play for sure. Zagreus now working on the man tap here. Lord will be up in just 15 seconds. Damien just constantly trying, right? Like, Damien's like, man, I just want somebody. And honestly, Damien hasn't done like a horrible job. Like, we were a little worried in the very beginning, but he has kept pressure on. Like, but maybe that, I don't know, man. Deuce Knights are just answering that pressure so well. Lord now getting chipped away as Mantap, Cold World, and Mingyu try to find his own. Keep our eyes on Damien once again. He is right behind Darwin, but they know he's there. And Darwin does have the ability with that skill 1 to find him out. Damien now on the run. Lord is getting recalled back. Will get some health back. Easy peasy getting brought low. Mantap trying to focus in. Immortality comes up, and it is the item to save the day because Easy Peasy will not go down. Able to get the chains. Finally, Easy Peasy able to escape. But Zagreus and Darwin have both been taken out. 5 members of the Simpsons still stand strong. Mantap now zoning away Say 10 and Sakamoto as the rest of the Simpsons focus in onto this Lord. There will be no contest. Simpsons are going to take this and hone back down onto Deuce Knights.
Yeah, this is the time the Simpsons need to turn the tide, you know, control the lanes, get the towers, Private.
Yeah, they saw the Damien now is providing more than just the kill possibility. It's the fear. They all are watching for this Natalia, and you saw them all chase her, which kind of put them in a bad position, which the rest of the Simpsons were able to capitalize on.
Feather Strike is coming down, easy peasy deleted with an unstoppable kill coming from Mingu. Not only that, but the tower is broken down and Lord is coming. Lord is crashing down this bottom wave along with several waves coming around the map. Say10, Sakamoto, Zagreus on the defensive. Darwin trying to clear as much as he can off of this bottom lane, but Cold World is ready. Promise is ready. Mantap, Mingu are here. Mingu does not have that Feathered Airstrike to help this, but the Lord does not care. He's going to crash in. Falling Star Moon does come down, does miss, hits nothing but wind. Brilliance comes out, but the Lord has finally connected. But the thing is, Simpsons are not here to help back this up. Mingu may go down. Zagreus does get that champ stance, able to get the knockout punch and collect a kill. Now we are seeing easy peasy back on the map, but crossbow Tang has finally landed. Darwin now taken out as well. Promise on the run, but they are there, and there is no immortality for you. 4 members of the Simpsons go down, and Deuce Knights with a nice defense, but you lose all your inhibitors for that trade.
Oh, Easy Peasy is hungry for it. He wants it. I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to get it.
Well, the World's a fast boy. He should be able to get away, but Easy Peasy continues to chase. Continues to want it. Chains do miss. That's going to be Cold World. I don't know. Mingu may be able to come up in time. He does have the Feathered Airstrike, and the waves of minions just aren't going to get there in time. They do get the stun. Immortality comes up. Cold World is back up along with 3 members. Goose Knights just can't finish this in time, and they're forced to go back to base because a wave is pushing down the bot.
Yeah, man, it is definitely turned, and no inhibitors left on the side of Deuce Knights mean that every single engagement, every single team fight has a time limit on it, because you're gonna constantly have pressure from these lanes coming in and crashing into your core. Not the best position that you want to be in, which means that you have to be very decisive with your fights. You go in, it needs to be finished, and it needs to be finished quickly. There's not going to be a lot of time for kind of dancing around and figuring out or hiding like this, because like I said, these waves are eventually going to start pushing into your core if you neglect these lanes.
Yeah, it's going to come down to this last Lord. From what I can see here, like, both teams are hungry and they want it. Damien's gonna have to. Damien's gonna have to be able to get in that back line and secure a pick or something, but Satan is just a monster at controlling bushes and roaming. Private.
The bushwork, bro. The bushwork.
The bushwork. You said it, T-Rex.
Wait a second. Watch Damien. He is locking in. A lot of damage. Easy peasy. And Darwin now chase him down. But this is exactly what you said. It opens up space for the Simpsons to claim the pit, right? It opens up space for Simpsons to get control over this war, but they don't want to try to soon. Zagreus now here. He does have an immortality, so he has some leeway to push in and now give his team space. Deuce Knights, Lord at half health. Mantap though into the back with that falling Star Moon onto Sakamoto. Able to do a lot of damage with the chains, knock him up. Lord still up and running, down to half health, still going. Feather Airstrike does come down. Now with the flicker, suppression comes down and Easy Peasy is deleted. Cold World now has free roam onto this Lord. Brilliance comes out, but Say10 and Sakamoto can't do anything. Damien finally gets what he's been hunting for, finally gets what he's been looking for, and now Promise is chasing Darwin. This could be it. Now we do see Simpsons with a Lord and only 2 members standing, and watch Zagreus all alone. The thumbs up comes out. Zagreus on the run. Lord has not breached the map just yet, but they're going to take out Zagreus first. Immortality pops, but it's not saving the day. Say10 alone against the Simpsons. 5 members coming with a 50-second death counter onto Zagreus. The clock is ticking. Can the Simpsons end this here? Easy peasy will be up in 10 seconds. Sakamoto will be up in 15 seconds. Feathered Airstrike comes down. Say10 does use the Winter Truncheon on bottom just in time, but the Lord is here, and it's a 2-0 sweep going over to the Simpsons.
Victory!
Yeah, unfortunately, with that last fight, I felt like there was a little bit of a miscommunication by the team of what they wanted to do. I saw a little bit of a lingering by Satan there, and the after the Lord was picked up, they didn't know if they wanted to go and engage, if he should have gone back to try to help Zagreus, and that kind of opened it up for them to get even more kills and not just the Lord. And like I said, the Natalia Damien, I want to say not the MVP here. A great job by Mingu to get those pickoffs with the feathered airstrike, but Damien, while the early game was going over to him, had a rough mid game. What I do like is him being able to kind of realize, all right, they're starting to group here, so I need to be more careful with these pickoffs. Not just the pickoffs, but able to kind of distract the rest of Deuce Knights during these engagements, to get in there, let them see that explanation point, let them see, okay, we have somebody here, and then able to escape, able to zone out the rest of the team during these objectives. And I feel like that was like one of the biggest the core of this offense and them and the success of the Simpsons here in this last match.
Damien just caused so much disturbance, right? Like I feel like that's the best way to put it. Just always for those last two Lords was able to pull them away from it, create space for the Simpsons, and was just disturbance, right? Like constantly being a gnat, that fly that you're constantly swinging at and just can't get to, and secures the win for the Simpsons. Not just a win, but a 2-0. This is 3 points for them. Now, right now, we already mentioned earlier with New Wave taking that loss. Last time we're starting to see some mix up, right? Like Season 2, the playoffs were close. There was like one slot open, the 6th slot. This time, looking at the scoreboard, and now with the Simpsons taking this, getting 3 points on the board, it could really end up being a free-for-all for the playoffs. A lot of mix-ups, a lot of upsets, a lot of 2-1s, 2-0s. Things are all over the map this season, and I am definitely excited for it. Now, for the last game of the night, we do have Ackerman, aka old Area 77. For those that don't know, Area 77 has gone through some rebranding, changed up a few players, changed up the whole team in general. Definitely excited to see their new debut up against second place NACT champions team First Blood. Before we get into that, we are going to take a quick 3 or 4 minute break. Some of my casters need to use the bathroom. I need to use the bathroom. I'm breaking a sweat after that last game. So we'll see you guys soon. Grab your popcorn, do whatever you need to do. Use the bathroom too. We'll be back in just a minute.
There it is, guys. That is picture perfect right here.
Middle, Craxy and Hate all alone. Can they defend this push, or are we going to see the sweep for the final? Ziggy flashes in, able to get the stun. Craxy in the back line, does some nice damage. Immortality comes up from right under the ultimate of Japanese, and now Hate all alone, not able to defend off. New Wave will take this game.
With
Step
the
counter just
sleeve.
too high, and New Wave takes the champion. Feeling this out, the way the nice stun on the shark, Pokey doing a little damage to the up. I feel so alive, it's like I'm down to nickel and make all the shit on my mind. I feel like I'm in the vibes. I've lost touch with reality, that shit killed the vibe. Had me living like I ain't having shit, I'm just getting by. And I'm far from the endless sky, still I grind to get me on top, no ceiling tiles. Yeah, ain't no cap, this an enterprise. Know you feel the vibes, feeling blessed that I'm still alive. A huge play coming. feeling so alive, I feel energized. I used to sit inside, let my feelings hide. Everything I despise, no reason given why. Now I thank God I'm alive, not doing prison time. Yeah, now I'm keeping all the bullshit aside to give me mine. Had to cut a lot of homies off, our goals just in the line. And that shit don't affect me, I was feeling fine. Still inspired to chase this fucking dream like the kid inside me.
Lost touch with reality. This shit got me forever free. And I'm so far gone now. Feel so alive and going all out. Lost touch with reality. This shit got me forever free. And I'm so far gone now. Feel so alive and going all out.
Now, Yeho coming in, doing a little bit of defense on the Shark, but it looks like Team Sexy wants to record a nice flicker kick, nice knock up, down goes Molecule to major damage.
That Franco was really low. He was more focused on lane. We're seeing Uzi getting demolished. Hayabusa. I think that was messed up.
And kind of have someone keeping vision, and we are seeing a bit of a pick on off the feet.
That's what it looks like.
We'll see Ziggy though, getting caught up. Omega gets a stun, in comes Syndicate. He does use that Petrify, but Ziggy is gonna go down. It's another kill there. And do some sort of crazy play, but now he is taking some damage. He does cover it from Syndicate. He gets the kill. Wait a second. Flicker away. Ziggy though chasing in. Does have an ultimate way to use it. All the way down there, trying to slow down, trying to take a bit too much damage. Taken out. Zia on the map. Zia taking some damage. In comes that ultimate.
The openings, they're not able to find those studios out. That's going to come out with another find.
Gallo, nice knock on the best player. Best player maybe going down once again. He is going to hang down, able to get the kill. And he does push on defender upon the Nicolette. Zia with that ultimate trying to make some space. Sharp with the Newman on blast. They are going to get the kill on the 8. Nice counterplay coming from Team Switch. Wait a second. Best player with the Petrify. Sharp trying to Newman on blast. Will get stopped in his track. And a nice time defender on the Sharp. They get that tower. Zia now coming around the side of Axel there with the 3 members down, make that forward. Nicolette all alone, but they don't have any Star moving over again. No one's able to stop this movement on Flash. It crashes down and gets the pin on the wall. This team fight, the disengage will most likely happen.
Welcome to the North American Squad League.
For those of you who are new, this is the first and currently only Mobile Legends League in all of North America.
A place where the top teams from the United States, Canada, and Mexico get to battle it out over the span of 10 weeks.
What are they battling for, you might ask? To start, 3,000 USD, 50,000 diamonds, but most of all, the right to say our team is the best.
It's been an amazing journey these past 2 seasons with teams like Area 77 and New Wave go home with the glory.
But as there will be 6 teams returning from previous seasons,
we do have some new faces coming in as well, and they look hungry.
For those of you loyal viewers who have been sticking with us through the past 2 seasons, we have to say thank you. And for
all of our new viewers,
welcome to the show.
We hope you
And I
enjoy.
hope you enjoy.
There it is, guys.
That is picture perfect right here.
Middle, Craxy and Hate all alone. Can they defend this push, or are we going to see the sweep for the final? Ziggy flashes in, able to get the stun. Craxy in his back line, does some nice damage. Immortality comes up right under the ultimate of Japanese, and now Hate all alone, not able to defend off. New Wave will take this game. The death counters are just too high, and New Wave takes the champion. Feeling this out the way, the nice stun on the shark. Pokey doing some damage to the
I feel so alive, it's like I'm down here. All the shit on my mind, feel like I'm elevated. I lost touch with reality, that shit killed the vibe. Had me living like I ain't having shit, I'm just getting by. And I'm far from the illest guy, still I grind to keep me on top, no ceiling tiles. Yeah, ain't no cap, this an enterprise. Know you feel the vibes, feeling blessed that I'm still alive.
Lost touch with reality. This shit got me forever free. And I'm so far gone now. Feel so alive, I'm going all out.
Just barely out there by Supra. And they secure the kill on the fan. What a set! Secures the kill on him. Do we get a team wipe here? Do we get a team wipe?
Wait, there's the firefly lock on. Gals keeping the back line, but Servasi will get suppressed and taken out first blood. Going to the side of Area 77, Nicolette keeps on coming in. Marcus here.
Yeah, I'm feeling so alive, I feel energized. I used to sit inside, let my feelings hide. Everything I despise, no reason given why. Now I thank God I'm alive, not doing prison time. Yeah, now I'm keeping all the bullshit aside to give me mine. Had to cut a lot of homies off, our goals just in the line. And that shit don't affect me, I was feeling fine. Still inspired to chase this fucking dream like the kid inside me.
Lost touch with reality. This shit got me forever free. And I'm so far gone now. Feel so alive and going all out. Lost touch with reality. This shit got me forever free. And I'm so far gone now. Feel so alive and going all out.
Now into kid. He does use that petrify, but Ziggy is gonna go down. It's another kill and do some sort of crazy play. But now he is taking some damage there. He does turn around, folks, and he can't get the kill. Wait a second. Flicker away. Ziggy though chasing in. Does have that ultimate way to use it. For all though, he's going down for that air strike. He's going down, trying to take a bit too much damage. Run down things though. Forces the way back. He's able to get the
All right, guys, welcome back. This is the final series of the night, and what a night it's been, honestly. Definitely been some hard hitters. I said in the very beginning of the night, we had some bangers, and we definitely did. We had a beautiful 2-1 with New Wave up against Team Sexy taking that win. Then we have a wonderful 2-0 with the Simpsons having their redemption match after not being able to compete in the NACT, showing that they are still a viable team in NA, completely sweeping and dominating Deuce Knights. But up next, we have something very special, right? We have a new team with some familiar faces, Ackerman, going up against Team First Blood. Now, to kind of paint the picture here, right? We know Area 77 had a bit of a fallout after the NACT dispersed, and they still wanted to continue to compete in Area 77. Now, I have a long existing relationship with a lot of these players, so we made it work. We have them competing. They're going to be picking up where Area 77 left off. But to add an even bigger cherry to the top of this, all of these teams had undergone some roster changes after NACT. Now, who does Team First Blood add to the roster in their EXP lane? Ex-Area 77 player, Merciless. So we have several ex-Area 77 players on Team Ackerman going up against TFB with Merciless. Now, if this isn't a blood match, if this isn't a grudge match, if this isn't a, yeah, we got something to show match, this is definitely what we're looking at. Private, how do you feel about this?
I am absolutely excited about this match. On one hand, we have Team First Blood, grand finalist of the NACT, looking to kind of continue establishing themselves at the top of the mountain in NA. A little bit of a juggling match going on here, coming from rookie to riches right now in this league right now, in NA as a whole. And on the other side, we have Ackerman, same great taste, half the calories. We're gonna find out next as they go up against the top in NA and see if they can still have that magic that Area 77 did in the time before them.
Definitely excited for it. Let's not waste any time. Let's jump into this draft now. If personally, honestly, Team First Blood. You
Your
said
team
Rex
is
Riches.
banning.
No better way to explain it. Rookies of the year, as I always like to say. I got it. I'm. You know what? I'm going to take a reach here. I'm going to give it a Team First Blood.
I like how we have their new logo here, though.
Hey, man. Hey. I did something right, man.
I know. It's just my call right here.
The other one got made before I had the logo. This one got made after we had the logo. So
I love it. I love it. It's all good. It's all good. I personally, right here, I've seen Ackerman put some pretty good games into some scrims, but I'm always the team first blood player to heart, so I'm going with TFB as well.
And this isn't even something against Zia, against Ackerman. It's become, we've learned not to choose against First Blood so far in NA. They have basically, I mean, not just that, but they, despite being brand new, despite everything that's been against them, they have just shown a dominance and a consistency that you don't really get from new teams, and it's really hard to kind of pick against them when it comes to this, especially when we're basically talking about kind of a brand new team. I'm just going to call them a new team. I mean, there's some familiar faces in there, but definitely a rejuggle on that roster. But they are including Zia, who has been known to be a very strong side lane, which we saw last season. And basically the core reason for Zia joining this team is he wanted to play the marksman, wanted to kind of shine there. So definitely he's going to have an opportunity in this next match against First Blood.
yeah, it's definitely going to be, you know, I mean, we have some hard hitters on both teams. You know, we saw Joybaj, and we're seeing the bans are relating exactly. They are parallel to the fact that we have some hard hitters. The Fanny, we don't want to have to deal with T or Kush's Fanny, right? The Cho, definite target over to Joybaj. Now, Gauss Cutie can play, Top G can play the Cho, right? But I don't think it's something they want to prio. And if they're not going to prio it, then they have to give it up, right? So we're already seeing bans very different than what we would normally see. My question is, how far is this going to go? Is the Valentina going to get left open? Is the Julian going to get left open? Are some of these picks that have been dominating tonight going to get left open with all of these target bans?
Your team
they're thinking about it, and I mean, just your explanation about it. They're targeting, but they also, like you were saying, they have to remember the Valentina's still open. I mean, the Julian's still open. So, and the Masha is still open, which I know both of these teams can operate a Masha at a higher tier than most, you know. So there's still such good picks in the current meta private.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's been kind of flipped here. We have a lot of bans here, not very customary that we've seen in the last two series here. So we're gonna have a lot of things open here. I was just wondering about that for Ramos. I didn't want to mention it so that I can put it. I didn't want to call it into life, but there it goes. Thankfully, we can talk about it now. But yeah, like there's the Farama span out there. There's so many strong picks, especially for teams like Ackerman and First Blood, who we know have the skill level to use those top tier picks. A lot of times you don't see the Atlas, you don't see the Valentina, sometimes you don't see the Masha because teams just are not as comfortable using those. But I don't think you're gonna have to worry about that with this, but we're gonna go ahead and prioritize this Valmont on the side of Ackerman.
I think it's a solid prio. Like, I mean, I wonder, but I think it's a solid pick. Like, it's not like you're not leaning too much into anything. You're not showing too many cards. Just especially with the Akai gone now, and with that being banned out, Ballman kind of has free roam, right? Like, he can just kind of do what he wants here. There's nothing to really challenge him. From the side of TFB, I think we might want to see that Beatrix, right? We might want to see that Thamos, some of those powerful up front picks, G.
Yeah, and I mean, you even still have the Julian open. I mean, Julian is with all of that CC and that kit. Man, that's what I was saying. The Julian can counter the Ballmon slightly private.
Yeah, those enhanced chains that Julian can put out immediately. That's the biggest problem with Balmond, is if you're facing anybody who can pop you up into the air, immediately stops that spin that you can do, which is just basically the core of Balmond's damage when you're not talking about the lethal counter. Like it's so definitely good pickup by the side of First Blood, reading into this draft, and I do like the counter here. I'm wondering what we're going to go. Are we going to be going for an Atlas? This will decide if there's going to be an Atlas in the game, according to what I think. If they pick it here and ban out the Diggy, there's going to be an Atlas. If they don't pick it, then I don't think there's going to be an Atlas in this game, because there's really there it goes. Yeah, because First Blood has been known for this. They've been, especially once it came into the last with the last games of the Challenger League, they saw how strong it is. They saw how he synergizes with those team fights, and he has just been like a core part of how they kind of group around and set up these fights, and especially with Joybaj, how well he can play that stuff. And then, yep, of course, the Diggy ban to follow that up.
And that Atlas is going to be clutch here, right? Like, especially against the Balmond, against the Esmeralda. Not only that, but Lilia's not a very ranged mage, right? Like, I've got a feeling you might want to keep the Purify on that Lilia, because it's not like, you got to get up close, and Joybaj is going to be waiting for that, right? So that's 3 members of Team Ackerman right now that are going to be prime targets for Joybaj. They are continuing the Fanny Face, honing down onto these marksmen. But the thing is Zia also hasn't picked up a gold laner yet, right? We know Zia did like the 1-1 in the past. Still a lot of options left. So maybe Zia already has something in mind, since they are already banning out some possible options.
I mean, what we're really seeing here is that the Bruno's still open, you know? Like that's still a solid pick. You still have the Bia. Like, there's a lot of marksmen. Claude's already taken out.
Where is my target? Your team is banning.
The Natalia, Clint. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so many. There's good gold lanes available. But I mean, what are we gonna see from the side of the XP? You know, are we gonna see like a Uranus? Are they gonna go more tanky? What I'm kind of seeing from the side of Ackerman, though, is that they just are lacking a decent amount of burst. They got like sustain. Lilia can do a little bit of burst, but she's also very squishy, you know. Private.
It's interesting here. I'm not big on the Clint. I don't think that's going to come out, just because of his range of motion of being able to get away. He has a dash, but a very small dash, and that's not something you're going to want against an Atlas that's coming zooming in for you. We do see the Beatrix is kind of being, it is going to go ahead and be picked up there. And still, I mean, the interesting thing about First Blood's draft here right now is potentially they could be going for something different than what you see. This Julian could serve in 3 different roles right now. We don't know if that's going to be a mid or a lane one. I'm assuming it's going to be an XP lane, because I feel like it could be an XP lane. I'm not even sure, just because of how flexible that he can be. We've seen him shine in multiple different positions here, even just tonight. But it is on Ackerman right now. It's kind of, and there it goes, that Bruno pickup. And Zia has really been kind of favoring this. I almost feel like forcing. I have not really seen. I've seen it in MPL and stuff. I've seen him shine. I just really haven't seen him shine in NA yet, Bruno.
Definitely not. I mean, it hasn't shined a lot, but we saw, I mean, he does,
There's that
as we talked about before, does have the possibilities. But looking at Team First Blood right now, just a team of hard hitters. Now for the Masha into the XP. Gina God mode on something we've all seen Gina dominate in, this Beatrix. Now, Top G picks up this Rafaela, right? Not something that we see all the time. And honestly, I'm wondering about it. Yes, you do get, if Top G here can time that first skill and get some of these speed ups, some of this mobility to get in and out and get away from Joybaj when he tries to make these plays, then it could spell victory for the side of Ackerman. But the thing is with this Rafaela, with the composition I'm looking around, it looks like a very bunched up composition. Like Bruno, another marksman, another hero that's not doesn't have that much distance, right? Like, wants to dash in, wants to do these things, and all of that I feel like is falling right into Joybaj's fatal lanes. But we will see how this actually plays out. This is the final series of the night. Ackerman up against Team First Blood.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This is where you put up or shut up right now. We do see a little bit of an engagement happening up mid, but it's going to be very interesting here because, like you said, the Raphael will be able to disengage if you see Joybaj coming. That's the problem. Oh my God. Jesus. That was a lot of damage going on to him. Yeah, but like if you see him coming, and we have seen that Joybaj is able to find these different angles. Oh my God, already Team First Blood is just regretting the aggression that they were putting into this mid lane.
Yeah, definitely a nice play from, I mean, right now you do have like Yato. We've seen Yato on this Lily time and time again. I used to refer to as a super comfort pick from him, and he does like to get aggressive in the early game. So with some of that lacking of aggression by picking up this Rafaela, you make up for that a little bit. And we're going to see them rotating around. We're going to see them trying to make plays in the center of this map, even pushing in the jungle possibly. So Joybaz and Shen are going to need to keep up with that.
The biggest thing is that they, again, I mean, they have the Atlas. The only thing, like you were saying earlier, is can Top G maybe allow the team to escape here? And I mean, it's all going to come down to that, because in the end, they don't really have too much backpill besides high MT, you know, like they don't have anything that could get in the back line, reach that via, get in the back line to, you know, reach any of the other team if they're trying to escape, you know, like, so we'll see what they do, Private.
Yeah, we do see this Lord is going to... I do think that the slight advantage is over to Ackerman because of Kush on this Balmond. Is going to be able to output a ton of damage. We do see an engagement happening here. Chains has already been activated. Shen in a little bit of trouble down at the bottom. Is going to get taken down, followed by a Joybaj, but Top G gets taken down as well. So that is a 1-for-2 trade in favor of Ackerman. Yato activates the Black Boots, and Merciless gets taken down as well. So this is a good spot and a position for Ackerman on this first turtle.
Yeah, Ackerman just come in and they show that they are ready to play 3-1 and a turtle. Already putting them at almost a 2K gold lead, only 3 minutes in. Team First Blood, I kind of felt like they may have a little bit of an early aggression advantage, but like you said, the Ballman is just going to consistently be a problem. We know what the Ballman does in these first few minutes. We'll put out big damage, but down goes Top G.
My God, what a beautiful machine gun by Gina God Mode there, able to put on the damage, which was an opening for Top G to get taken down, and now they're going to be pushing onto this tower while Amsen is going to have to activate that ult to try to disengage, but is going to get caught by Falling Star Moon and the lethal counter, able to clean him up quickly.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was maybe a play to allow Gina God Mode to like farm a little bit of the gold on the tower and stop the team from coming down there, but I mean, it was definitely a huge overextension and could smell a little bad for the side of TFB there.
It could end up being a problem for sure, but I think at this point, as long as Ackerman can keep up some of this aggression, they still have late game assurance. Like, they still have Zia, who we know how that Bruno can do in the late game, right? The amount of damage. And though they win, like I said, as long as they can not let Joybaj, I mean, Joybaj only just hit level 4. There's still a lot of playmaking possibilities from Team First Blood. We cannot count them out just from a nice early game from the side of Ackerman. Because, like I said, Ackerman has more of this pocket formation, and that is always going to be a threat. So as we creep into the mid game, TFB will have some opportunities to maybe make some plays. The question is Joybaj going to be able to do it? Because that is a lot of weight on him.
Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of some of these abilities kind of being wasted here. Another thing to note here is the longer that we don't have engagements, you can see the lead from Ackerman just piling on. So they're just doing a great job of understanding, getting their lane pressure, getting the gold up there. Even Dormant, they're starting to expand a lead, which you don't usually see without a kill. And then Yato getting caught here is gonna get a ton of damage on him. Holy baptism does land on the Shen and the falling star moon fall, whatever. Esmeralda's ult comes down and does make short work of him as that as we do see that Fatal Links up at the top is going to be enough to give him a little bit of wiggle room. But then Gina God mode might be in a little bit of trouble here. I'm not sure if this is what she wants. Is not going to be able to get away for her. And this is a 6-3 game now for Ackerman from like nothing. Like there was no kills, and now they have 6 on the board to 3.
Ooh, yeah, that is rough. Now that Zia takes that tower, Holy Baptism comes down. Shen maybe out of commission.
Yeah, he just got back in. He's already gonna have to return to base, and Joyba is powerless to really stop this onslaught of damage coming from the side of Ackerman here.
Ackerman looking very, very aggressive right now, G.
They are looking very aggressive, and I mean, they can smell First Blood's blood right now. So let's see if they keep this up.
Oh my god, we just see the Fatal Links going on the auto, but the Black Boots is activated, and they are making Joybaj pay. Every single time he misses a Fatal Links, Yato is there to slow him down with these bombs. We do see Kush a lot of pressure coming onto this mid lane, but I don't think they're going to be able to push it anymore right now, G.
Yeah, and I mean, they're just... And this is what Ackerman has to do. If they continue to keep this aggression, continue to keep... I think it's Joybaj changing his name. If they can keep this Atlas at bay and keep them wondering where the whole team's at, they can take this game.
Yeah, we do see another engagement coming here right now. Joybaj is going to have to disengage. Kush is on the run, trying to put some damage on. I'm not sure he's going to want to go in there. Falling Star Moon does come down, but it doesn't catch them. A pop-up now onto Zia, who is putting the damage onto Shen, who gets taken out by Kush, and met another kill. Amsim gets taken down as well. It is a 10-3 gold lead, a very dominating performance by Ackerman here right now.
Yeah, Ackerman are just shredding in, and at this point, TFB really needs to fall back a little bit. Give up a couple towers, but they do not want to let any time happen. A big whiff on that Fatal Links. Baj is going to go down.
Absolutely a dominating performance here. What is going on is, like I say, every single time Joybaz misses a Fatal Links, they're able, Yato's punishes him for it, slows him down, while the rest of Ackerman just slides in there and puts on the damage. Right now we are at a 7k gold gap in favor of Ackerman, and I'm not sure what they can do. They need to slow it down, and especially with some of these engagements, and it's all kind of like stemming from a lot of these misses from Joybaj.
I was gonna say the same thing, because I mean, look, Joybaj is 3 deaths and 3 assists, and I mean, that's not too much, to be honest, in the area that we're already 8 minutes in, and that was the first time we've seen 1 Fatal Links go off, and it didn't even get anybody. So we're gonna have to see Joybaj change that around, and maybe get some type of play for the side of Team First Blood.
Yeah, I'm wondering exactly, though, what TFB can actually do here. And they're getting closed in up on the top. It would be a bad spot. Poor Gina God mode taken out. Now, this is exactly what we don't want to see, right? Continuing of the bleeding, and they're just bleeding more and more. The gold lead is getting larger and larger and larger. TFB really just need to take a step back. Let Ackerman come into them. Baj needs to find some better angle. Oh my god.
And this is the pressure that we're talking about. Shen does get Len to pop up, followed up very quickly by Lord T with a falling star moon. They are answering every little bit of aggression. There's always, especially Lord Candace Esmeralda, we do see every single time they're caught out of position, you have Lord T in the background kind of catching them off base as well. Every little engagement that they do, they're paying for it. If you miss an engagement, this is like such high level play, and honestly, I want to say like uncharacteristic mistakes by the side of Team First Blood.
I mean, so right now, Lord coming down, it definitely uncharacteristic mistakes, but I just don't know if they were ready for the aggression that Ackerman was going to bring. And looking at Baj right now, as I was saying before, he's being a little too straightforward, I feel like. Remember when we were watching Tamal coming in from these distances, coming in from a bit more angles, catching people off surprise? I need to see Baj maybe use that flicker a bit more and just get into the middle of them, wait until the side of Ackerman is grouped up, and then make your play. They do still have some late game opportunities. They do still have Gina God mode, who hasn't taken too many deaths. You know, like, at least the deaths are pretty spread out. So there is still some possibilities. The problem is it's just a huge deficit. 11K at 10 minutes. So I'm definitely arguing a hard battle right now with the Lord coming private.
Yeah, we have the Lord crashing in now. This is the last chance for new First Blood as they're coming in. Lord to take it down quite quickly as they do land the Fatal Links onto this. Oh my God, and then Baj does get taken down. They landed it on the Kush, but he's still able to survive it. Shen in a world, what is a little bit of a spam of those abilities there as the top inhibitor tower is going to go down there by Kush. And wow, Merciless, I'm not sure if that's the fight you want. This gets bursted down, and I think it looks like they're going to try to move on to this mid one, but they don't have any more minions there. Next set of wave is going to be crashing down at the bottom. They are still in a bad way here, pushing in our Ackerman, but it looks like they're going to go ahead and disengage. Oh no, Amson kind of is dashing out there. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to take too much damage there, but look at how much damage is being put onto Team First Blood just defending their tower. And this is going to be another tower that looks like it's going to be going down to the side of Ackerman over here at mid.
Oh
my God.
And a big way is collapsing in.
Yeah, and that's another Fatal Links that does land, but they are too strong right now. There is not enough that they're going to be able to do. Great play by Zia. He's going to go ahead and dash away from Mosh's damage. Gina Godmode gets taken out, and I don't think there's going to be anything that's going to be able to stop them from this next push. We do see Shen gets taken out, and this is just a dominating performance. An 11-minute victory for the side of Ackerman.
That is rough. I mean, and it gets to a point where, like, when the gold deficit becomes that much, it doesn't matter how many good plays you make. It doesn't matter if you get the Fatal Links off or not, because you're just getting shredded down once you go in. So the scale was tipped too much. Ackerman takes that game in 11.5 minutes, and one of the most dominating performance we've seen tonight. TFB, you got to lick your wounds and try to come back if you want to take this to game 3.
Yeah, and as far as the compositions go, it's not just the angles that Joybaj was coming in. He was straight being outplayed. He would go, there was two choices. There was a few choices that he had. He could go on to Zia. He could go on to Top G, but both of them had Purify. So that's not who you're going to want to go for. So he thought his best target would be Lilia. Every single time he went in for Lilia, though, she would flicker. Yato would be able to flicker out of the way, and that's basically the outplay that you're looking for. Even if he because when he misses that, instead of being at the safety, there's that pause of you missing your stun, and then Yato just unloads with the bombs. And that was kind of I feel like they were just so prepared. I feel like this was not we accidentally let Atlas through. I feel like this was a plan to give them Atlas and have this plan in store for them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, at this point, and not only that, but like when I looked at TFB's draft, when I looked at Team First Blood draft, I was like, man, they got some hitters. Like, those are my exact words. I was like, man, they have some champions on that side, and they just got destroyed down, outplayed. Hopefully we see something a little bit different. And I honestly can't say that like it was completely a draft at that point. You know, like a lot of things spoke for Team First Blood in that, but Kush, Zia was able to just hone down in that gold lane until he was able to get those 3 items in, and then he just started coming in enough to the point where he didn't get really any kills in the first 5 minutes or so, but then towards the second half of the game, racks up 7 of them, never takes a death. Kush, along with it, the whole team just did a wonderful job. So the question is, can TFB come back and make this a full best of 3?
I'm hoping, you know, I mean, the teams tonight have shown that they're fighting, and you know, maybe the NASL is not a sweeping tournament, you know, compared to, you know, something else we know.
That's basically the snowball. This textbook early composition, not letting your opponents get to the late game. And honestly, that's what I was thinking through the entirety of that match, is like, just wait until the late game, wait until the late game. But they didn't even make it to the late game. They closed that early. They knew exactly what they were trying to do with that early aggression. It kind of threw off, and I feel like it kind of threw off First Blood's synergy, because there were a lot of mistakes there that I do not feel like are akin to First Blood, with their getting caught. Or there was one point where they got chased from the top lane. They were so far in Ackerman's jungle that when they noticed enemies coming for them, it was already too late, as they were trying to run back, because Esmeralda was able to kind of cut off their escape and pick up 2 kills as well. So it's like I said, for me personally, I feel like it was kind of uncharacteristic, the type of mistakes and the lack, dare I say, lack of synergy from First Blood. And hopefully, yeah, they can be able to pick this up with the second game, because like you mentioned, the draft didn't really speak. Maybe we should have paid more attention. I think we're so used to seeing how well New Wave can like hold off and thwart off that early game pressure, that you forget that if you have like such a dominating early game, there's not much that the enemy's going to be able to do to kind of carry them into that late.
Most definitely. And now we will figure out exactly how this is going to work out, because TFB will have first pick this time. They have the reins. Can they guide this draft into a victory for game 2? Ackerman, with the aggression we saw in game 1, may not want to let that happen. And I got a feeling Ackerman may just bring the same type of composition here, right? It may just bring in heavy aggression. If Kush can get that Ballman, we can definitely see that coming once again.
Yeah, I mean, Ballman's ability to be able to just secure objectives is just so key, you know, and it fell into their hands doing it that round. We do see like TFB's not liking Fanny gameplays, because we're constantly seeing the Fannies be banned. Could be, you know, some respect. But what I'm gonna want to see from the side of Team First Blood this time around is, like, it didn't seem like the team fights were there. Like, we need a little bit of chemistry. We need a little bit of, like, you know, cohesion to be able to make it, you know. And that's what you were saying, Private.
Yeah, it might be a little bit with some of the sit-ins that we have now. Merciless isn't he isn't the textbook player on Team First Blood, and we've seen tonight how well those compositions, how much of an effect it can have when you're fielding new players on your team, regardless of how great a player is on a team and how great players are separately. You do still need that synergy. You do still need those games with the team to kind of get a feel when to go in, when they need help. Even if you're in voice chat, I mean, it's one thing to be able to call something out, but it's another thing to play with the team so often, to play with guys so much that you know just right off the bat what they require or what kind of help that they need or how they're planning. We might be seeing like maybe the little growing pains of kind of the roster juggle for the side of First Blood here. We see some kind of standard bans though here. The same Fanny ban like you mentioned, followed by that Valentina and Claude on the side of Ackerman.
Yeah, I mean, but back to like, so yes, we have had some roster changes, and this is a good opportunity to test out Merciless, right? To put him on the board and see how he plays for the season and everything. And Team First Blood does have a little bit of leeway, right? But if Ackerman can take this, it just adds even more gravity to the fact that, like, what I was saying earlier, right now the scoreboard is up in the air. If Ackerman can sweep this, it takes Team First Blood down to a number 5 spot instead. And it's just the NASL is getting shaken up tonight to a very large extent. We're creeping more and more towards the playoffs, and things are just getting more and more intense. Now back to those drafts, Fermis. I don't think we're gonna get to see him played possibly for a long time, for definitely a long time. We'll see how this new hero affects things in another 2 weeks when he gets let out of the chamber. I haven't seen any gameplay from him just yet, but first pick is up Kush. They end up banning out that Ballman on the side of Ackerman, so Kush is going to be forced to run something else right now. TFB couple options. The Akai is open this time. Is that going to be something they prio here?
This is the Emperor's
Right off the
order.
bat.
Your team
Right
is
off the
picking.
bat. I mean, you called it. But I mean, that again, that leaves some really solid picks. You know, like Esmeralda. You still got Thamus. Like, there's still some really good XP laners that being first pick sometimes it's a little rough. I don't know if I would have picked the Kai just out the bag, you know, but maybe we'll see what they can do.
It depends on the comp that we're going to be going for here. I don't know. I feel like the last was a good, yeah. It feels like the last the Atlas pick from First Blood was probably a good scout by Ackerman. Like I said, they used it. It was pretty much a prime pick ban for Team First Blood in their last I want to say like 4 or 5 matches in the Challenger tournament, so it might have been a good pickup and a read by them. We do see Yato getting back onto this Lilia here, and just not something. This is the Lilia that I hate seeing in ranked matches. That the moment you make a mistake, it's gonna take you 7 years to get back behind your tower because they're just gonna be spamming bombs onto you. And like you said, it is a comfort pick for them. So I mean, it looks like they're kind of going for the same type of composition here on the side of Ackerman as well.
I mean, Baj gets that show now.
I was about to say
Gina on the Wan. I mean, we got the comfort pick for Yato, but now we're getting some comfort picks for TFB, and I like it. We have some nice CC. We have nice crowd control for these team fights that if you do start to fall behind a little bit, like if you can't handle the early game aggression from Ackerman, you have something to kind of stop that, to push them away. You have nice disengage, you have nice peel, and if you can help Gina God mode on this Wan, you have a lot of possibilities here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they try to line up the Atlas for Ackerman, but they don't. They go for the Franco. What a great counter to be able to, you know, just lock down the Wan. But it all comes down to that one hook. And I mean, when I seen it was you, T-Rex, and Naisu, just you talked about it. Like one hook can decide the difference of a game.
Your team is
I mean, you also have to watch out though. I mean, that's a great pick against the Cho. I feel like anytime Cho, not even the hook, but the Bloody Hunt, like that Cho tries to come in, Bloody Hunt's stopping you. So Cho's now needs to be careful about the way he prods and pokes.
Yeah, and especially because this is still looking like a very early aggressive game from the side of Ackerman. You've got that early game harassment with those iron hooks and with the speed that Franco can kind of invade. And then on the side of First Blood, I don't really see too much early game, something to carry them into the mid game where it looks like they might shine here. I know a Kai, I don't really feel like he's an early game pick. I know he's got a lot of disengage he can do, but I just feel like we're kind of lacking on that ability to carry us into the mid and late game that it looks like Ackerman's going to try to shut out again here in this second game.
I'm wondering if Team First Blood's going for more of a late game here. We might see a Sicilian T-Rex.
I mean, it's possible, right? Like we've seen those types of picks get picked up before. I think at that point, like with that, you're really going for a very like front to back composition, right? Like you have these heavy frontliners, you have 2 very ranged backliners, but I'm wondering if that's too much for late game. Like I did mention that they do have, with the Cho, with the Akai, you do have the possibility like maybe buy yourself time and disengage a lot of fights if Ackerman tries to push in hard. And there it is. There's your Sicilian. If they end up locking that in, you are putting a lot onto the back of your late game, right? So I'm questioning. I would like this better. I would honestly, and I like that Farza pick a lot better because you still have late game insurance with it, but Farza also brings some aggression in the early game. Even though she's, even though she scales very well and those feathered airstrikes become very damaging in the late game, she can still create pressure in the early and mid game with her rotations.
Yeah, we're dancing around picks here. I was definitely wondering if we're gonna have something early game because right now this picks are depending. This looks like the same type of. In fact, it is, except for with the exception of Franco and Benedetta. This is basically the same type of early game, super aggressive. And high early game damage composition. Yeah. Insert word for high damage early game composition from Ackerman. So this is gonna come down to communication on the side of First Blood and their distancing and positioning.
I'm just worried that, you know, Benedetta kind of, at least in the NASL and over in has kind of had a curse, like hasn't done that well in the past. Maybe Ackerman can finally change that. This could be the last game of the night. This is Team First Blood up against Team Ackerman. Right now, Ackerman leading this 1-0. Team First Blood needs to take this game if they want to take this to a best of 3. Now, looking at the compositions, I do like some of the, I like the early game with this mid lane combo from TFB with the Cho and the Farza. Now, once Gal's Cutie hits level 4 in this Franco, Cho is going to need to be a little bit careful, right? And with the hook, you are creating some pressure. So we're not going to see, I don't think, Boj being as aggressive possible, but this is the early game aggression, right? Shen and Boj already rotating down. Top G knows that this is coming, but we're already seeing the presence. We're already seeing the fear be shown with this combination in the mid lane.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit smarter and wiser here. Kush is going to go ahead and try to disengage from here. Does get knocked up by Joy Boj, but it's not going to be enough. It does distance him while the Team First Blood is able to pick up that Litho Wanderer.
Yeah, I wonder if, I mean, like you were saying, I enjoyed the Farza pick, you know, because I felt like what was doing a lot of the damage, and they just didn't have reach last game. So being able to, you know, target Zia is going to be clutch here, but the Kai is also just invading so hard.
He does take it
he is able to get. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get away from this. He is going to have to look out for that iron hook, but he is going to be able to get away there. And a very good pickup by the side of First Blood here in the opening seconds. But that does look like Cho does get caught here. Boj is going to have to use that Jikundo to dance his way to safety.
Yeah, but there's the Farza, right? Once again, creating space. That 2-1 combo to get the stun stops them in their tracks a little bit down in the bot. A little bit of a back and forth, and here comes Shen.
Oh, Shen with the stun onto T is going to be able to get away there, but we do have a turtle coming up. It does look like First Blood is in a good position here to try to get into this turtle. Not really all the players here in position here. They are going to come in here. Turtle is down, and we are going to see Kush be able to pick up that turtle, and it does look like a little bit of trouble here. Akai is going to probably get away. He does get away with a little bit of health there. Good pickup by the side of Ackerman, but they're not going to be able to get a kill off of that. But good defense on the side of First Blood. Oh my gosh, we were just talking about that. He does get the way of the dragon put onto Top G and does force him into the tower for a nice kill there.
First blood, G.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I was like, First Blood for that First Blood. So it was a good go, you know. And I mean, all the aggression that we're seeing from First Blood this time around is kind of putting Ackerman on the the back foot, you know, like they want to go in, but they're not. Like it's interesting, you know, and this is what we want to see.
Yeah, definitely something I like to see now. Boj finally getting that pick, showing that he's starting to feel a bit comfortable, not too scared of gals on this Franco, which we mentioned could end up being a problem up in the top though, and that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, and we do see a very good bloody hunt comes down there. Zia in a little bit of trouble, is going to be able to get away. That damage onto Omson is going to be able to take him around. Gina Godmode in a little bit of trouble, does get taken down. Next is Yato laying on the damage, and we see Kush coming in here now. Shen is not safe. He's trying to get away. Is going to have to use that flicker to get enough distance, but this top tower is going to go over to Ackerman.
That is definitely rough, and that is once again with Yato on this. Once, you know, in very similar fashion to what we used to always see from Area 77, once they find a moment, they always capitalize on it, and Ackerman is doing the same thing. They found one spot of weakness. Omsen goes a little bit too deep. The rest of the team isn't there to back him up. Down on the bottom, suppression comes in.
Yeah, and he is. Oh my God, I can't believe he's able to get away from me here. He is going to be a little bit in trouble. 4 members. This is going to be all she wrote for Merciless. He's not going to be able to find a way out of that. But what a great synergy by the side of Ackerman. We did see that bloody hunt come in there, and the patience of the Esmeralda to wait until the bloody hunt was done before they activating the falling star moon onto him.
Yeah,
I mean. Sorry.
I'm not understanding the Bakito pick, you know, like I mean, Esmeralda definitely counters.
Yeah, Joy Bunch is in a little bit of trouble here. Is going to try to get out of this, and we do see the heavy spin coming down, but Omsum in a little bit of trouble. Look at all the damage. Wave of the world from that Bruno is putting on the damage onto the rest of the team First Blood, and Gina Godmode in a little bit of trouble here as Benedetta is diving in. Kush is going to have to disengage here. We do see a Way of the Dragon onto top G, and he does get taken out there, so it is a 1-for-1 trade. Both teams standing even here, but the gold lead still in favor of Ackerman.
Yeah, and that's a big gold lead at that. 3K at 5 minutes in. Ackerman keeping up the aggression once again. And the tower diving ability with Kush, with Yato, and those black shoes. There is no escaping them right now. Baj trying to do something, trying to keep up, and Gina just can never seem to get these crossbow of Tangs.
Yeah, you were talking about that. Oh my, we do see that feathered airstrike coming down here, but look at the damage on the Shen.
Oh my
God. The
God.
problem with using a Farza into one of these teams, especially Zia, who's going to be able to dive out of the way of this heavy spin, and they just are not able to protect it. What a play there. Shen just got deleted from the damage from Zia on this Bruno.
That was disgusting.
Bruno's just nasty. Bruno is so nasty, T-Rex.
You know, I'm starting to become a believer. I'm starting to become a believer for sure, especially watching Zia on it. Oh, Kush tries to get the pick on a Gina, quite can't make it, but Merciless picked off in the off lane. Another kill going into the pocket of Zia G.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely are just disrupting Team FB's just like their flow, and then they're just constantly captivating on it, and they're not scared, as we've seen that Lilia just absolutely charged the Farza with no regret, you know, like they're just controlling the map so well. And I'm actually surprised at how well the Benedetta is doing here. Almost all of Ackerman is doing pretty amazing.
Well, especially what he just mentioned with that final blow ult by Kush, able to kind of almost use like a teleport to kind of get in and past the line of the tower without much damage being put on him. We do see a little bit of hanky panky here for this for that blue buff, and it does look like Omsum is able to get a heavy spin, but look at that, Kush just able to dash right through it. So I mean, maybe a great counter for this. We do see Way the Dragon does go to the T, who does get a lot of damage put onto him, but Kush right here trying to dive in, does get picked apart. Gina God mode in here, latching on. Are they going to be able to take him down? We do see he does have the ult, so he is not going to be getting away here as that crossbow of Tang lights him up.
Finally, TFB gaining a little bit of ground, but they're losing so much at the same exact time, and there's still one big problem on Ackerman. Zia. There's still one big issue that, yes, you get a kill onto Kush, yes, you get a kill on a top G, but you've done nothing to Zia just yet. And we already saw last game, it took a little bit of time, but this is the point where Zia's gonna really start outputting the damage, right? And Yato as well, 0 deaths, and that's a big Way of the Dragon, but I don't know if it's gonna be able to do it.
No, see what happened there, the Way the Dragon went into the wrong mode because he flickered and he still continued with it, which put his whole team in a bad way here. Blodge gets taken out by 4 members of them. That flicker, that smart thinking by Top G, as soon as that Jeet Kune Do popped him up into the air, he flickered above Cho, which put him in a bad position to finish off this Way of the Dragon. And now we do see Omsum is trying to get away here. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to, taking a bunch of damage here. Still does have his ult, so he's still going to be pretty safe here, but right now a dominating performance and a 7K gold lead by Ackerman.
Doing a wonderful job at that, and I'm wondering, you know, looking at the side of the team First Blood once again is pushed into a corner, and the gold lead becomes more and more, and I'm just losing hope. I feel like Ackerman with Lord back up might be able to even crack an inhibitor with this push G.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
Blind hook does get onto Baj, and this is going to open up the Lord. It is now a 4v5 game, and look how fast they were able to take that, and especially with the distraction by T here down at the bottom. Man, what a dominating performance, and Ackerman showing that they are here to stay, as Obsim is going to be, have to activate that heavy spin, is going to stay around Shen just to make sure there's a little bit more added protection here, but now you have two ults that are gone with minions and Lord rushing toward your towers.
Ooh.
We do see a little bit of a concealed play comes onto Zia. Is it going to be enough to take him down? They do take down Zia. A Way of the Dragon does land onto T, who is going to be able to get his way to safety. Yato activates those black shoes, is going to be able to back up a bit, but right now, Gina God mode, too far in the front as that final cut lands onto Joybaj. It is now 3 players down for the side of First Blood, and I'm not sure they need to keep on engaging into this. We do see that Bloody Hunt does land onto Merciless. He's not going to be able to get away there as they are charging now onto Amsim, on the Sakai. Lord, a huge value out of the first Lord of the game, as we do see a Feathered Airstrike raining down damage, trying to offset this push. That heavy spin now on to the side here. Lord T does go down as this Lord is still up here, and that they are down to 2 inhibitors on the side of First Blood.
I mean, that was insane, right, T-Rex?
Definitely a rough one. Now, I mentioned in the very beginning how good this heavy spin will be for disengage, but I didn't think we would only get to see it for disengage, right? Like, it has strictly been a running away mechanism, and that is not what we want to see. We haven't gotten to see, we've seen, I think, 1 crossbow of Tang come from Gina God mode. We just haven't seen them open up these fights at all, and now we're back at a point to very similar to game 1, where even if Boj does get a play, all of Ackerman closes in and wipes him out immediately. Even if Amsim goes in and maybe he does get a pin, right? He still has to stand still for the pin, and it's just like what we saw in the Atlas last game. You immediately get deleted by the team closing in on you. Zia, 4-1-6, but the real star of tonight, Yato, at 8-0-5, just completely dominating, but we might see something happen on the bottom. Finally, they do get a pick.
What a beautiful heavy spin. Does take down Kush. Lord T in a little bit of trouble, is going to be disengaging. I don't think you want to run in on this, as you have the rest of the team coming in. We do have the crossbow tank coming down. It is not enough to take down Lord T. We do see, a hook does land on the Merciless with the Jikundo. It is able to release him from that bloody hunt there. A great job by the Cho there, but here comes the falling star moon. He does get knocked out of it here. Look at these outplays after outplay right there. Amsim in a little bit of trouble here. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get out of this as the Feathered Air. Oh, just
Big
misses. Oh, man.
Point blank range.
Send that boy back to hooker school.
You can't hit them all. Oh, this man lands hooks that are insane, but when he's right in front of the dude, just big whiff there. And honestly, that right there could have been very bad for TFB if he landed that hook, right? Like, probably would have secured the kill into Shen, gave him a lot of moment, but TFB may want to challenge this Lord private.
Yeah, they are. They do have all their members up here. They are kind of catching up. We do see that Shen is going to have to activate that wings by wings. Amsim does come in with the heavy spin. We do see that Feathered Airstrike. He does land the hook this time, does Top G, as we do see Amsim does get taken out there. Shen follows closely behind there as Top G is going to have to disengage there. We do see the crossbow of Tank coming down, but Gina God mode, it is not going to be saved by it. He does get taken out. Down comes the falling star moon, and we do see the Way of the Dragon with a little bit of taunting there, but I mean, this is not the place you want to taunt right now, as the rest of the team is crashing in right now. They're not even going to wait for the Lord. It is 2v5 right now, and I'm not sure that the team of First Blood is going to be able to offset this attack. Joy must try his best to get away, but this, if there were any questions of whether Ackerman is capturing that same magic, they have been answered here tonight with these 2 dominating victories for them against First Blood.
Yeah, beautiful sweep. I mean, and just like definitely bringing back memories of what we've seen in the past. This is I mean, I haven't seen a sweep like that in a while. And not only sweep, but a sweep against Team First Blood. Yes, Team First Blood going through some roster changes, but still, I mean, Ackerman just came in, and it just got to a point where, sometimes that having that early game aggression and making sure you can get a gold lead like that in the game. I mean, we saw right there, Omsen comes in. It doesn't matter how well you play. And TFB started to play well towards the end of that game, right? Like they started to make some nice plays, get some nice picks, but it just didn't matter. Omsen uses the heavy spin and still gets deleted. Gina Godmode gets off the crossbow of Tang and still gets deleted, not being able to take out a single member. So Ackerman showing a debut with the new team, able to do some incredible things.
One of the most not just dominating but strategically sound victories I've seen, especially against a team like First Blood. You called it in the beginning when you were talking about this Franco pick being able to offset that Way of the Dragon of the Cho, and we saw it there, especially from the first one. As soon as Baz came in, landed that Jeet Kune Do, landed that pop-up, then went for the Way of the Dragon, and then immediately got caught up with the suppression of the Franco. And it was magic after that, because it kind of made you question about how you were going to be going in and the angles that you were coming in from here. It was just an all-out, not just the burst damage that this team could do at the beginning, but being so far ahead. Not only, and that's the problem, not only did they have heavy hitting heroes in the Bruno, in the Lilia, and the damage that you could get out of this Benedetta, but they were ahead. They had all these things together that were pushing them, throttling them forward at the beginning of this match, that by the time First Blood finally started to come online, it didn't even matter, because you had two heroes that kind of had to stand still in the Akai. Once they pinned them against the wall with a heavy spin, Akai was just a target for the damage that was coming out of them, followed by Shin, who was able to get some good distance on those feathered airstrikes, but again, a sitting target for the side of Ackerman there. And just, I feel like a great, not just a great draft, not just a great early game, but just an all-around, like, just great experience coming from Ackerman. And they are going to be a team to watch here in NA.
Definitely.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, like, I mean, you gave them tons of praise, so I don't think I gotta do that anymore. Like, you definitely, they're looking really good. One of the biggest things I do want to point out though is that, like, this is like a mosh podge of Team First Blood's like lineup, so it's not exactly the same that we've seen in major tournaments. So maybe TFB later on to get it together, T-Rex.
Most definitely. We don't count them out for the league, right? Like every team has their bad night, as we've seen. I mean, we've seen a lot of upsets tonight. We've seen a lot of upsets throughout this whole tournament, honestly. Throughout this whole league, honestly. So excited to see how we continue through. This will put Ackerman, though, in a decent spot and bring TFB down a little bit. So right now we have a lot of teams sitting around the similar points, which we will be releasing the scoreboard this Monday, so make sure you guys follow the page. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share the stream, follow the casters, follow the league on Instagram, all that good stuff. You guys can type ! Casters, ! teams, and ! social or links in the chat, and it'll give you link trees to all of these things. One last thing that we do need to talk about before we end the stream. Last season, we did a GoFundMe to help raise money for the league. We raised $1,000 to help put money towards the prize pool, to help pay mods, graphics designers, casters, all sort of people, and help give a little bit back to the community, helping put this thing on. And once again, we are reintroducing that. We're going to drop it into the chat real fast. So if you guys want to help, this is a grass-funded league. This is a grassroots movement, essentially, that we have built through a community of people in NA that just want to help teams, help NA, and help people that enjoy MLBB have something here. We've been doing this for 3 seasons now, pretty much on our own. So if you want to help be a part of it, feel free to jump on the GoFundMe and donate a little bit. All of it does go back into the lead, goes into the prize pool. We appreciate everyone who donated last season. KS Chief was a donator, Ebor, Chris Smith, a whole lot of people helped out. So thank you guys. And anyone new that wants to jump in, thank you so much. If you guys want to join the Discord, that is also in the description. You can jump in, you can join the membership, whatever. Thank you everyone so much. Any last words from Private or G?
It's just amazing matches. It's a great way to jump back in to the second half of the squad league, and I can't wait to see what we have, not just in store for tomorrow, but for the rest of this league as these top teams compete from NA.
Yeah, no, definitely same. I can't wait as well. We're always growing. This is the forefront and the stepping stones of North America, and I think that's about it. T-Rex, do you want to update them about like the total what they're playing for in the tournament?
So currently right now the teams, because I know there actually were some questions in the chat about the prize pool. So we're looking at a 1,500 prize pool, 50K diamonds. In this GoFundMe goes towards the prize pool. Essentially all of it will go towards the prize pool. So these teams have a little bit something more to play for. We will be trying to get it up. I mean, I have faith that we'll hit at least 2,000. I mean, at least $500 in the GoFundMe. We hit 1,000 last time. So teams will be playing for something. Again, this league has always been something as a breeding ground, in a sense, a breeding ground for not only teams, but for casters, guys like Private, G the Akayo, all the other casters who have grown here, me, myself. It's been a great place to practice. It's been a great place for teams to grow. So it's been a community movement, and we appreciate everyone who's been a part of it. We could not get sponsorship like we got last season to cover the whole prize pool. So right now, people like G are throwing in to help provide for this. Community members are throwing in to help provide for this. So if you guys want to be part of the NA movement that we are creating here, feel free to jump in. And I think that is it. Shout out to all the mods. Mace Guy, shout out. Sakura, we love you. Woo! Everyone else, seriously, Ravi for doing all the graphics, Private and his team for doing all the data analytics on this season and for the last NACT. The guy's a numbers monster. I don't know how he does it. Seriously, we appreciate it, guys, and we'll see you guys. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. The new time for the NASL is going to be 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I figured we could start a little bit later, help bring in a few more people. I feel like that's when the views go a little bit higher. So thank you, everyone, and tomorrow we'll see you guys in the draft.
See you then.
Cheers.